everyone, happy Saturday. Thank you so much for joining me here. We are doing a Saturday stitch along where we are going to finish up our little pumpkin dude, our Skully pumpkin, and we're also going to stitch up the Batty bat design. So both of these are going to be using that stick and stitch stabilizer, just like that, and we will wash that off as well. So I'll show you guys how to do that whole process. So thank you so much for joining me here. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for the beginning crafter, and I am here typically every weeknight, Monday through Friday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and today we are doing a special stitch along, a special Saturday stitch along, so we can finish up these little embroideries. They're our embroidery of the month. They are just available till the end of September, so I did put a link in the comments if you guys are interested in stitching these. I suspect we will be here 4-ish hours today, so this is going to be a longer stream. I think, I'm just guessing, I think that's about how long it'll take to finish this, and also take off the stabilizer and press our piece and finish it up. So I think that will be the deal today. I'm guessing. We'll see how accurate I am in guessing how long it takes to embroider something. So I'm guessing 3.5 to 4 hours. It might go to 4.5 hours. We will see. So feel free to pop out, pop back in. We'll be here for a while. So thanks, guys. Let's get going here. All right, here we are. Thank you again all for joining me. I appreciate seeing all y'all again. Okay, so here we are. I have my file open here. So I have the lines and the colors that I'm using. And I also have the bat open because we'll be doing this guy next. So these are the digital patterns. They come with both you can purchase them separately without the bundle, and then they also are included when you buy the bundle. So you don't need to buy them on top of the bundle. But I have them open here just to finish up. Let's scooch down. So just so you guys know, I will have this open next to me just so I can still look at the stitches and the colors, all that. Oh, Susan from Berlin, Germany. Thanks for joining me. It's probably pretty early for you over there. All right, happy Saturday morning, everyone. All right, so here's where we got last night. We almost finished the whole crown here. So I'm going to finish up this leaf, and then what we have left here is we have like all the face details. We have the purple outlines of the face, but that's basically it. And again, this is a sticker basically that we made from the Sulky Stick and Stitch. That is this. Oop! It is stuck to my tape. Here we go. That is this product here, the Stick and Stitch. It's by Sulky, and you run it through your printer. I did that for you guys for the bundles, so every bundle will get that, and here's kind of what it looks like. This is the bat one that I'll be using later, and it just comes off like a sticker, and you stick it on to your fabric and you stitch right through it. So I love doing that because you don't have to do any of the work of transferring, but we will have to take that off later in water, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that once we finish both designs today. We'll take them off together. So all right, let's get going. This little leafy is green, and I happen to have a little bit of the green left, or a piece of it here. So from earlier. So let's start with this. I'm going to use my thread conditioner again. Rebecca's asking if I have some coffee. Oh, Susan says in Berlin it's 6 p.m. Okay. All right, so that's a great time. That's perfect. That's good to know. I do have some coffee. It is barely any coffee though, because I already had like 3 cups of coffee. I haven't had a morning home in a while, so or like where I got up early enough to like just chill and have my coffee. So I had a little bit more than I typically do. We have already made our second French press full of coffee, and that's pretty much done too. I think John's had quite a bit more than me. Caffeine doesn't affect him as much, but I have had my coffee, and I have a little bit left. So I do have that. All right, I'm going to weave in the back of, I think, these stitches here, and then we'll just start here. So I am weaving in all my stitches because then it is helping us keep this very nice back. So because this back is going to be shown, I mean, I'm stitching onto a tea towel, so there is a chance that someone hangs this up backwards, you know what I mean? So I want the back to be as nice as I can without like big jumps everywhere, without any knots. So I am weaving in my stitches. So at the beginning and the end of my rows, or my pieces of floss. So I'm going back and forth 3 times because it's that third time that kind of locks it in. Like if I just pulled this, it'd probably come out, but because I only went 2 times. But if I'm going 3 times, that locks it in. And it can go through the wash, and it shouldn't come out or anything. It should stay just like this. All right, and I am doing, like I said at the beginning of the row, if there's nothing to weave in, like here I have tons of stuff to weave in because we've stitched a lot, but if you don't have anything to weave in, then that's when you would use the away knot, and we've kind of gone over that in the earlier videos of this. It's basically where you reserve a piece of thread for later, so you can weave it in later. And I do that by just making a knot and then jumping over to where we start. And that jump on the back, you'll have that loose thread basically. That's what's reserved to weave in later. So we should not have any knots in this. All right, and I'm rotating this again. Oh, you guys, I think I got something caught. Oh, there we go. I'm rotating it again so it's most comfortable for basically my left hand. My left hand is feeling every stitch that I do just to make sure that, there's no knots, or if anything feels off, then I'm going to flip it around and see what's going on. But I get like a signal of if something's off by feeling the stitches with my left hand. So I'm just rotating as I go, just in case, or just so my left hand can feel things better. Nilda says hi from Florida. Just reading through your comments. Oh, Gretchen said that she finished her Mandala Love tea towel. Oh no, she didn't finish it. She's washed it, the Mandala Love tea towel, and it's still perfect. So these tea towel embroideries can be washed no problems. Okay, that's fabulous. So yeah, the Mandala Love. I wonder what month that was. That was an earlier embroidery of the month. And yeah, so I have a quilt that I've washed a ton of times that has embroidery in, and that it doesn't show like anywhere really. At most, maybe the stitches look a little softer because it's cotton, but I wouldn't be able to tell. It looks pretty much the same. Oh, nice. Linda says, I think I'm going to go down this way and then come back up. I'm going to go down the center and then come back up here. Linda says, nice to have company while I cut the fabric for the Granny Squares quilt. Oh, we're basically all helping her with her day of cutting. Yes, the Granny Square quilt. That was the biggest thing to get over for me, I think, was how much cutting. But when you are done with that cutting, it is such a fun project. So the Granny Square quilt, if you guys don't know, is one of the projects that we're working on in our evenings when I do my nightly evening show with you guys. that is the first full week of the month is when we work on that. And I would love to spend a Saturday like what we're doing today, just really kind of cranking ahead on that project, because we're only about halfway done with the blocks. I'd love to get all the way done with the blocks, and then we can work on putting them together, like sewing with sashing in, putting them all together, and then I'd love to get going on the border for that, which is a ways away for me. Oh, my mom's in here. She says, I'm also putting the borders on the granny square quilt. Dang, so she is super far on her granny square quilt. If you remember, I showed her quilt when I visited last. I showed you guys her blocks so far. They are so bright and pretty and fun. I'm excited to see what it looks like sewn together. Dang, that means you got it all sewn together and are ready to put borders on, meaning you have the borders done too. There are some fancy borders with the granny square quilt that I'm excited to do with you guys here. That's why I want to get to that part. All right, we're almost done here. A couple more stitches. And then the crown will be done. We'll be able to move on to the face. I think there is quite a bit of green in the face. Actually, so we could continue to use up this thread, because I think we'll have quite a bit of thread yet, and then I don't have to switch threads yet. So yeah, we'll start with some green. I think some of these bubbles around the eyes are green, so maybe let's start there. Then we'll just finish up all the green. These little fronds at the bottom are also green. Oh, Beth said, I missed your mom's quilt colors. I heard about the greeting card inspiration. Well, next time I visit, I'll hopefully share again. Oh, okay. Mom says the fancy borders are not done yet, only the inside 2 inches. So there must be, I haven't read that far ahead, there must be like an inner border and then the fancy border and then probably another outer border, I would assume. Still, that means you have it all sewn together though, right? That's pretty exciting. I can't wait to do that. Oh, it's gonna be so fun. I love that quilt. All right, there we are. Pretty crown all finished there. That feels good. That's a lot. So all right, next up is whatever's happening down here. So I think, again, I'm not going to just jump down here. I could. Normally, if I was just stitching a normal embroidery, I ended here. There's this guy's green right here. I would, without hesitation, just jump down there. But, again, we are doing a piece where the back is going to be visible. So I think what I'm going to do instead is weave in the back of the eye and then start there. Then I won't have, otherwise I'd have a big jump that goes from here to there. So I'd have this thread on the back, and that's kind of what I'm trying to avoid, just so that this looks clean, so the back kind of looks like the actual design yet. So I'm doing the extra kind of annoying work, really, of starting and ending my flosses instead of just jumping down. But I think the effect of a nice clean back without a lot of jumps is going to be kind of nice. Especially if you plan on, using this as an actual tea towel. If you were just making this on a separate piece of fabric and you're planning on like framing it and hanging it or using it in a quilt or something, I wouldn't bother. I would just jump because you're not going to see the back. But I'm being extra annoying here with filling in the back. All right, I'm just looking at this. I think let's go over here because there's only 2, and I think I maybe only have enough thread for maybe 1, but hopefully the 2. So, oh no, there are 3 over here. So I'm just looking at the design again, just as a reminder. I do have the design open here, and I'm looking at his eyeball there. So this is green, and this is green. And I guess this guy's got 3 greens as well. And then we got green down here on the mouth. So just keeping my eye on that. And that's basically all back stitch around the eyes. I guess we'll start on this side. So I think this is the first green feller, so I'm going to weave in about right there. There, so by just, instead of jumping by going down here, well, I guess my jump would have been on this eye, but instead of jumping, I'll be weaving into this back, and then it'll just look like it's part of the eye and not a jump. All right, there's my 3 times. Where's my guy? Kind of on the top there. So, all right, back stitch around these little loops. Oh, interesting, Susan. Oh, good. So Susan, who's in Germany, said that she was having trouble downloading the quilt pattern from. So the quilt, the Granny Square quilt is from American Patchwork and Quilting, the magazine, and they have it's I think it was from one of their magazines in like 2000. Was it two? It's I think 2007 or 7. I don't think it was 2017. I think it was older than that. So it was on the cover of their quilt, and then they sell the pattern online for like $6 or something. So Susan said that she had a problem ordering that online from them from Germany, but she found the pattern from the magazine, so that's cool. You can find the magazine. I've seen it on eBay every once in a while, so there may be, if you can't get the pattern, I would definitely look for that magazine where the actual original was from. All right, so this is going to be my last stitch with this group. So this is the next guy here. I think I'm going to actually, instead of jumping to that, I'm going to actually just weave in the end a little bit. That'll contain basically that leap on the back, and then we're going to do the next one, which is this little bobber here. I'll definitely have enough thread for this one. Ooh, I'm going to play thread chicken. I think I might have enough for the last one as well. It's going to be cutting it really close, though. But if I have to just do one stitch, then I'll do that one stitch. So on curves like this, you might notice I make my stitches a little bit smaller because really all of our stitches are straight lines, like a stitch is a straight line. So we're getting the effect of a curve by putting a lot of straight lines together. So the more stitches I put in, the more of a curve it's going to look. All right, the next one is this one here. So again, I'm going to just kind of weave in the bottom of this eye. And let's see if I can, oh god, I barely have any thread. Let's see if I can get this guy done too. That'd be cool. Oh, thanks, Luann. Luann says it's turning out cute. So cute. Oh, Sylvia says on the Granny Square quilt that I need to learn the fancy borders on the Granny Square quilt. It's got me stumped. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm not sure I've ever done a fancy border in a quilt before. Oh, and by the way, I have totally enough thread here. That's awesome. So that's, I'm excited about that quilt as well to do the borders, and that's why I want to do like maybe a Saturday stitch along at some point, sew along, because I want to get it that far that I can even focus on the border. I gotta get those blocks done and sewn together. But yeah, I want to get going on that border as well. I suppose I could work on the border without finishing the blocks, but that might stress me out. All right, done with the green. Totally had enough thread. All right, I do need more. I mean, I guess at this point, why don't why don't I just go color by color? I'm gonna do some more green, because why not? So I got the green in this guy's eye, this eye over here, I mean, and then there's the green at the bottom here, these two fronds, and then that's it for the green. So let's just do that. I got to get a whole new thread. So let's get that 24 inches or so. Kind of exaggerating it a little bit. I might be doing a little much. I don't want to do too long of thread though, because then the act of stitching the thread, I mean, there's a lot of friction on the thread just by pulling it through the fabric, and that can wear away at the thread. So I don't want it too long, because I don't want to wear my thread out. And second, I don't want to like pull my arm way back to pull all the thread through, just for repetitive stress. So it's better to just do shorter pieces. But every once in a while I get greedy and make them a little longer. I'm still probably around the 24-inch mark though, or so. All right, I pulled my 3 strands out. Let's get those back together. I still think that's the fastest way to separate the threads, is one at a time. And I'm using 3 strands just because I like the thickness of the stitch. So if you stitch with less strands, your stitches will be thinner. If you stitch with more strands, they're going to be fatter stitches. And 3 is kind of my typical. I know 2 strands is what a lot of people learn to do, and that looks lovely as well. That's totally fine. It's just a little thinner. You'll have a little thinner. All your lines will be just a tish thinner. All right. So next up, so this guy right here is green. Oh yeah, there's still only 3. So this funny bloop, this guy, and this guy are green. All right, let's just weave in the end and see where we pop out. Ooh, it smells good using that thread conditioner. Ooh, I caught a little bit of the towel there. Okay, 2, 3, and I'm gonna snip these little. Oh shoot! I'm gonna snip these little threads before they get in my way. They're already getting in my way. That's a nice thing about weaving in the end too. You can snip the threads really close to the stitches, so you won't accidentally pull those threads to the front. That's super annoying. That happens a lot if you're stitching with a knot on the back. The little extra threads at the end of the knot can get pulled through all the time. Oh, hi Diane. Diane says, hi, I'm new to embroidery. Does a thread always need to be conditioned? Nope. This is like the first project really that I've thread conditioned all of it. I'm relatively new to thread conditioning. I don't think you need to do it at all, really. What it does do is it helps hold the threads together, and just kind of protects it a little bit from all the friction of pulling it through. However, it's not needed. You can definitely stitch without it. I would not worry about it. I would start stitching without it. But if you are finding that your thread's getting twisted a ton, or you're getting just a ton of knots, which really isn't all that uncommon when you're embroidering, but the thread conditioner may help a little. But I wouldn't like bother with it from the get-go. I'm kind of doing it more so that it smells really good. This particular one. I am really happy though with how it's it's basically a wax. So it's keeping my threads maybe a little more stiff, which is helping it from tying in a whole pile of knots. But you won't necessarily have that issue either of it going in a pile of knots. So I'll do one, like let's do the next thread without thread conditioner. I think the big noticeable thing for me, besides that it smells really yummy, is that this is staying like straighter. Like all my thread just in general feels straighter. It doesn't feel like it's looping up or separating from each other, and that could be helpful for not doing knots. I do not sell it. I'm hoping, like I've contacted them to see if we could maybe get some for the shop. But this is from Wisecraft. So if you go to Wisecraft Handmade, so put the handmade in it, like all one word, wisecrafthandmade.com, and then go to the shop and thread conditioners, and that's where it's from. So this is Blair Stocker from Wisecraft Handmade. We've done some of her projects here before. She did that English, when we made that English paper piece pillow. Ugh, that had to be, gosh, at least a year ago, maybe even 2. Ooh, shoot. That was her project. But she has these thread conditioners now. She wasn't selling them for a little because she was moving, but I think she's done and her shop's back open. But I just think the smell of these are really yummy. So for me right now, yes, it's holding my thread together a little bit better, making it a little stiffer, but it just smells amazing, and it's making me happy while I stitch. Oops, sorry you guys. Bumped the camera. I'm actually going to lift this up a little bit more. Oh, so Marlene says, I never received the thread conditioner from Wisecraft. Said that they won't have it, anytime soon, but I did find on Etsy somewhere else. Okay, interesting. Oh, but the sets were different. So, all right, so maybe she's not selling them right now again. I'll contact her again because I really am liking this. This is really the only thread conditioner I've tried besides just, raw beeswax, basically. So I'd like to try a few more out as well. But okay, that's good to know. I'll send her an email too and see what she says, because I would love to have some of it in the Penguin and Fish shop, because I am really liking it. If that happens, I will definitely let you guys know that I have some of it. I think it'd be just like great, like stocking stuffers for a crafty person, or and little holiday gifts. Oh, Pamela on Facebook is saying, I'm English paper piecing a pillow now. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, tumbling blocks. Ooh. Be sure to post it in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group, Pamela. I'd love to see. Okay, so Nilda is saying that Carolyn Friedlander also has some thread conditioner. Yeah, now that I'm using it a little bit more, and we've talked about it a lot, I'd love to get my hands on some too. For the hand stuff, we were kind of just testing it on embroidery because we weren't sure how it would work on embroidery floss because it's bigger. I mean, typically, you're using the thread conditioner for, your little hand stitching, your normal like sewing thread. You're using thread conditioner for that. Like if you're English paper piecing or like hand quilting something. And not really on embroidery thread, so we're kind of testing it out, but it seems to be working nicely, I think. All right, I have a little thread. Oh, I have enough thread left to jump down here. So that's the green. That's the green on this eye. So just so you guys, this just popped in my head, and I wonder if I have anything big enough here. I don't think I do, but this has been, I have all this extra fabric up here. If you want, you could actually kind of roll this up. Let's give this a try. I'm going to roll this up because it's kind of floppy and in the way. I'm going to throw a couple Wonder Clips on here You could probably even safety pin it, or just throw like even a bag clamp, like for like chips or something, throw that on there. I'm just gonna kind of see if this works. We're gonna get this wet, so I'm not concerned that this is gonna leave a crease or anything, but it's getting annoying with all that fabric flopping around. So there we are. Now, I mean, it's kind of heavy there, but I don't think it's gonna get in my way as much. I'm gonna actually do it one more time. Let's clamp it even more. All right, let's give that a go. See if that does anything. Okay, let's jump down here. So we have these two little fronds to do, and then we're done with the green. That'll be it for all the green. I'm gonna weave in the bottom end, I think. We'll weave in here. Oh, so Marlene, from the Etsy, oh wait. Okay, so from the Etsy shop that she went to, she got a coffee flavored and lavender vanilla. I thought you meant you got a coffee and it had lavender vanilla in, because which is amazing. There's a coffee shop near us that we haven't been to since all the COVID stuff, but they have a latte. It's their lavender like oat milk latte or something. And they have, I don't always like lavender in food, but for some reason this is just it is almost like lavender vanilla, but it's like coffee and this oat milk, which is kind of sweet, and then this hint of lavender, but it's not really flowery tasting either. It is so good. I was just thinking of that yummy, yummy coffee. Oh, nice. Marlene is finishing her great-granddaughter's baby quilt today, as she'll be born any day now, and I'm watching while I finish the quilt top. That's great. How exciting. Gretchen says she's a pumpkin spice person. Gosh, I haven't had one of those either. We're kind of black coffee people, although a good latte is yummy, but I haven't had a latte in a while. And I hate when you get a latte and it just tastes so like milk. Like they just put too much milk in and not enough coffee, so you lose all that flavor. But maybe my black coffee habit has just made a latte too diluted in my head now. I don't know. All right, we're gonna go one at a time and work my way up here. So I'm gonna get close for you guys here. Actually, I'm gonna jump over here. It's sometimes a little bit easier to get close up. All right, so there is my first two stitches. I'm just kind of doing both at the same time. You could stitch all the lazy daisies and then come back down with the back stitch, but it was just easy to weave in where I'm going to start the back stitch, so I'm kind of doing both at the same time, or one after each other. Making those loops. Ooh, I kind of don't have a lot of thread left. Is this feeling like I'm going to run out here? Lazy daisy stitches really use a lot of thread. Back down to the center for the other one. All right, I'm bringing that needle up through the middle of the thread, and if I can't quite get it, like when I get a shorter thread like this is a little more hard, I sometimes just put the needle up at the spot and then wrap that loop around. And put in that little anchor stitch. Get Another back stitch in there, curling up the edge. I think we might just have enough thread for this, which is a bummer. I'm going to have to get... Oh, we did separate another piece of thread. I was thinking I was out of green thread after this, but I do have another piece, which is perfect. That'll for sure get me through this, and then that's all we have left of the green. So the sewing method, again, would be if I went in and out. It's a little difficult to do. There we go, in and out in the same motion. Then I can just grab the thread and put it underneath and then pull through. It's kind of, it's fast and easy. I do like doing it that way, but I still think the accuracy of the stabbing method, where I go all the way up and then all the way down in different motions and then all the way up, I can get a little bit more accuracy. All right, I think we'll get another back stitch in here. I think this will be the final back stitch. I'm just going to make it big. I like doing the back stitches after I do the loops, because then I can get this pretty crossing over of like where the loops connect. So like it's kind of, I feel like it's kind of messy right where they connect. So I'm just doing the back stitch on top of that because I kind of like that look. There we go. Let's do this last one. And I'm definitely just going to have enough thread for this. Hopefully I'm not shaking too much for you guys. I don't have, I'm not using an embroidery stand or anything for this, so I'm keeping on moving here. All right, that looks pretty cute. I'm liking that. All right, let's weave in the end, and then I'll jump over to the other side here. All right. I like how pale this green is. This is our celery color. That's 2 and 3. All right, let's get our... Oh, this is definitely nicer having this all wrapped up. It's not getting in my way at all. Should have thought of that sooner, huh? All right, let's do that last little frond, and I do have some thread left. So let's do this without the thread conditioner. I really don't think it's going to be that big of a difference. It's just more of like one of those nice little luxuries of crafting, having that nice smelling thread conditioner. It does help. I mean, it does physically actually help by holding the threads together more and stuff, but not to the point that you can't do it without. All right, let's weave in that end, and we'll stitch this in the same way. I think the back is still looking awfully nice. But you can see this is kind of twisted and stuff. I think with the thread conditioner, this would kind of be held together a little bit more. I didn't separate these threads either, so they're not going to lay as flat anyway. All right, there we go. But there, just like this, it's all kind of twisting. I mean, again, I didn't really run my hand through this and kind of get rid of those twists to start out with, but I think thread conditioning would kind of eliminate some of that for us. So I don't know, we'll see how it goes. I think now that I'm used to the thread conditioning, I kind of just want to keep doing it. But yeah, that conditioner would have helped a bit with all that twisting, I think. Let's do these fronds. This is going to be it for the green. So let's do the sewing method for some of these. In and out, around. The sewing method, again, that's where you go in and out in the same motion, and you're basically staying to the front of the fabric a lot. That works a little bit better if you have your fabric looser in the hoop. Actually, you don't need it in the hoop at all. And it'll be pretty easy. So there we go. In and out, wrap around. Yeah, I think I'll probably keep doing the thread conditioner after this. I don't think, I mean, you know, we'll be fine if we don't do it. If we do get a knot, I'll show you guys how to. There's a typical knot that happens with embroidery, and it's when the thread wraps around itself. It's kind of a loopy knot, and I do have a trick to get rid of that. I wonder if I can recreate that type of knot. Let's see if I can. Okay. Did I do it there? No, not quite. All right. I don't know. If I get one of those knots, I will show you guys how to get rid of it. If you do know what I'm talking about by like one of those loopy knots, the best way to get rid of it is put your needle inside the loop and kind of pull up. If you tug on one of the threads is going to make it tighter and one is going to make it smaller and pull up towards the needle. You want to find which thread is that, and then tighten it so it goes all the way up to the needle, and then when it's just a small little loop around the needle, then you should just be able to pop it out really, really easily. If we get one of those, I will show you how. But it's just the thread twisting around itself, basically. I guess I stopped doing the sewing motion, or the sewing method. I learned using the stabbing method. That's my go-to. I use the stabbing method. Gotta do the back stitch though first. There, so you can stitch just fine without any thread conditioner. It's just a extra little treat. Oh, Gretchen says that she wished her whole house smelled like the Huga flavored. This flavor of the thread conditioner. Yeah, I mean, if you're making these thread conditioners, they're basically wax. I bet you could just make candle flavored versions. All right, there we are. His little chin fronds are done. All right, let's weave in that end and decide what to do next. I'm kind of feeling like just sticking down here and doing the blue, and then we'll do the blue and all the rest of it. Then we're left with yellow, just a hair of yellow. There's not that much, and then little French knots, and I think that's it. That didn't take forever. Well, there's still a bit to do yet. All right, let's snip. Done with the green. Okay. So there's our back, looking good still. Okay, let's so this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we do this bottom area here, which is blue. This is still all back stitches. You could really kind of do these as lazy daisies. They'd be kind of big ones like this, but since they're kind of wider, I am going to just do back stitches. So this is blue. The little eye edges here are blue, or the cheekbones are blue. And then there are a bunch of blue ones around the eyes. So I think I'll do that next. That'll feel like we got a lot done. Because that's the bulk of it. After that, we forgot these eyes here, then the French knots, and there's a couple little yellow ones around the eye. All right, more floss. Let's separate our threads. One. 2, 3. All right, just running my hand through this. We'll use this guy up later. I suspect we will need it. And let's use the thread conditioner again. Oh, I might have one of those knots here. Yeah, okay, you guys. Oh, no, I don't. It just got twisted. I'm hoping to get one of those knots just so I can show you how to what works most of the time to get rid of it, but don't have one quite yet. But you can see how kind of like flowy and kind of twisty this looks. Once I run it through the thread conditioner, it all kind of feels straighter. It's subtle, but it feels heavier and straighter. So, I don't know. I think it does something. Kathy says on Facebook, someone keeps texting me, and every time I come back, you're almost finished. I'll be almost finished for a long time yet, I think. All right. Let's do this bottom bit. That'll make me feel like we're farther. You kind of got a lot woven in the back of these stitches. Getting kind of bulky here, but we're almost done too. All right, let's do these guys. A little chin back stitches. Oh, that's interesting. Gretchen says on Facebook, I also hold my thread conditioner up to a light bulb for a bit to soften it. Huh. That's kind of interesting. All right, again, around these curves, I'm using some smaller stitches just to get the effect of that curve. Oops. Kind of knotting up a little bit there. Kind of doing the last stitch as a forward stitch instead of a back stitch, just to get tucked underneath these other chain stitches. So normally I like stitching the background items first. So like this purple outline, this purple chain stitch outline, I like the look of it being on top of all of these stitches. So normally I would be like all these green and blue stitches. Normally I would do these first, but I really wanted to get that outline done. So now, like when I get to the edge, I kind of have to tuck it under the purple to make it look like the purple's in front, which is a little annoying to do because I can just ignore that when I'm doing the background stuff first. But doing those purple outlines on this skull just makes it feel like I'm getting a lot done faster. 2 more stitches for this guy. All these little details is kind of a lot of surface area that we're covering, so it doesn't look like a lot, but it's going to. Oh, hold on, you guys. Let me. I'm kind of recording this too, but I'm losing space on my computer, so I'm going to stop the recording. And we'll continue here. Gosh, I'm kind of tempted to do these French knots that are down here just to be done with this whole bottom, but I think I'm going to err on the side of just using up this color first. Because, you know, it's a whole, I'd have to switch threads and all that, and that's going to take a little bit of time. So I'm going to just keep this blue on and worry about these French knots later. Even though it'd be so awesome to finish up this entire bottom. Ooh, Catherine says there's a chill in the air in Kansas, so I think I'll make some tea. That sounds nice. Yeah, we've had that up here for the past couple days, just a chill, but it's been so sunny and pretty out that it really is just nice. Oh, Marie says that these colors on YouTube says that these colors are sweet and reminds her of candy corn. Ooh, I've not had any candy corn yet this year. We were just at the grocery store. Did get some Reese's peanut butter cups. Those are long gone already, but like, I wonder what the trick-or-treating plan is, or if there is any for the city. I mean, we don't really get that many trick-or-treaters anyway, but there are, I think, some more smaller families or younger families on my block now. So I don't know. I don't know what that's going to be like. I suppose it'll still happen, and people will just be wearing masks, is what I suspect. So I don't know. I suppose we still need to get some candy. But then we just end up eating it all. And we can't get it until like right before Halloween. That's like more than a month away. I don't know why I'm thinking about that already. Well, because we're stitching Halloween stuff, but I can't buy candy until it's like right before the time I need it. Otherwise, we'll eat it all. But the bummer is if you wait that long, then all the good candy's gone and you're stuck with whatever. All right, we're almost done down here. I think we'll go up and get some of these cheekbone bloops. Let's call them petals. Cheekbone petals. Oh, Teresa says buy it and freeze it. Oh, see, I would want it even more than like a Reese's peanut butter cup, like frozen. That sounds really good. Oh, we gotta put them in a place where we forget about them, like a secret stash sort of thing, but I don't know this far in advance. I don't know. Marie likes the candy corn with the chocolate in it. Marie says that in Wisconsin it was 43 last night. Yeah, so yesterday when I went to the office, it was 48 driving there, so that was pretty chilly. So yeah, I'm sure we probably got down to 43 last night too. We still have the window open though. We're starting to put more quilts on gradually, and I'm just wearing warmer clothes, but it is so nice to have the window open still. Couldn't do that for a while when it was so hot and humid. Okay, there's his little chin so far, coming around. All right, next up, more blue, because we have quite a bit here yet. So let's do this guy. And then maybe we'll, if we're, I'm not going to have any left after this, I don't think. But next up, we'll just do this eye, and then we'll come around and do this side, and then the eyes, and then we'll be done with that blue. Okay. We'll start by weaving in the end. The cheekbones first. For no reason, other than it'll feel like we did a lot, I think. Okay, so I guess we're starting from the bottom one. I think each of these are going to get about 5 stitches, 4 or 5 stitches. Again, we want that effect of, well, first of all, it looking like the purples on top of the stitches, and the effect of a rounded shape. So the more stitches, I think the better. So I think some will get 4, and the smaller ones, or the smaller ones will get 4, and the bigger ones will get 5, maybe. Whatever works. Ugh, Marie, that sounds perfect. Perfect weather. All right, this one I think we'll get 5. Yeah, it's just beautiful and sunny out again here. I think when we're done, I'm going to have to go for a nice walk outside, a nice fall walk. So I'm just thinking of something. If you are a beginner at embroidery, I mean, I'm going pretty fast here, so don't feel like you have to go so fast. But one of the tricks that I'm doing, and I'm going to get close up again for you guys, one of the tricks that I'm doing to find, like if I'm on the back and I'm trying to find the next place to stitch, I am dragging my needle on the back of my piece. You can see it, that little point right there. So right there, I just follow that. And I can see that point, and I'm dragging it until I'm in the exact spot that I want to be, and then I'm pushing up. So that's how I'm finding where to go so quickly, and stitching fast is because I'm dragging that needle and finding, like, I'm not just guessing. I'm actually seeing where to stitch because of that point. So you'll see that every time I stitch. Maybe not from that far away. Usually I can get pretty close, but it'll be at least that much. Maybe some people can guess perfectly and get in the exact spot needed, but they're pretty fancy, those people. I have to drag. Sometimes I'm pretty close, but there's still that little element of drag. I think I'll have a little bit of thread left after these bloops, these petals, but I think I'm going to switch threads because it'll be easier. And then if I truly need like a tiny bit of thread left, if I run out, then I'll switch back to this strand. But I think maybe one more long piece will do it. our stitch, then we'll weave in the end, and we'll do, I think, the eyeball ones. Okay. Okay, this has helped so much, clipping these up, so I'd recommend that. Okay, yeah, so just a little bit. Yeah, this is like enough for like one little French knot or something. I don't think there aren't any blue French knots, but I'm not gonna get more than that out of there. All right, let's. I got that other half of the blue here. Let's give that a go. Let's do the Earl Grey. But yeah, I wouldn't mind some of these as candle flavors either. Oh, I got a little thread in there. I'm going to try and pick that out. There we go. So all these threads, just as a reminder, all these threads are included in the bundle, and they're all our new Penguin and Fish brand of floss. So we got a bunch of floss manufactured for our kits, and we have them in bundles of, we have 23 different colors right now, and we have them in full set bundles. They're half the size of normal skeins, so we call them pocket skeins. They are 4 meters instead of 8 meters, so they're perfect for projects like this. Just enough. Actually, I'm going to have quite a bit extra from this project. I think I might use the extra when we start this guy. So we're going to stitch him today yet too. If you're just coming in, we are going to finish up him, which we're getting there. We're getting going. And then this guy I want to stitch up as well. And then when we're done with both, then we will take off that stick and stitch sticker. That's what our transfer process that I printed it out on here. This is included in the bundle. This will come off. We'll stick it right on our embroidery and stitch right through it. But it comes off with water, and I have some water on the sidelines here, just waiting to be used. It was hot water when I started. We'll see if it's warm. Typically you want to use warm water. It works in cold water and stuff too, but I think it works a little bit better in warm. All right, I'm going to do this guy first. So hopefully it won't be totally cold. All right, 1, 2. Still looking good on the back here. All right. Yep, that's our first one right here. Oh, Gretchen's asking if we'll carry more scissors in the future. Absolutely. I have, I think, one more of our stork scissors. That's these. It's in the gold color. I have one more of those. And we are working on getting some more kind of cute styles. Maybe some more of those stork ones. Maybe we'll try some different colors. But I'd like a few variety of scissors in as well. I'd love to get some of those Kai scissors. Those are like those dressmaking shears. I really, really like those for cutting fabric and stuff. All right. John just walked through. It looked like he had his work gear on, and he was grabbing the knife that we use in the garden for weeds and stuff. I wonder if he's working on the garden. That'd be kind of fun. We'll see what he's up to later. All right, next one's right here, 2 away. I guess we'll just go through the fabric just a little bit, just so we're not doing that jump. I mean, I don't know if this is really necessary to get me to the next spot. Just one little stitch, but let's do it. Okay, that one, and this is the next one. Oh, Teresa says, love Kai scissors, perfect for wool applique. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, this is my Kai scissors. It's a professional grade one. It's that 7200 series. Mine is the 7230. I think this is the shorter. This is like the 7-inch dressmaker shears versus like the 9-inch or something. I don't know. There's a few different sizes, but it's the best. They are not cheap though. I think they're around $70 or so. So I don't know. I totally love it. Oh, my mom just said in Facebook that John's been talking with his father-in-law a lot lately. Gardening is probably rubbing off. So my dad does a ton of gardening, and I think he actually has his master gardening certificate. And you know, they're doing all the fall stuff, all the like getting the gardens ready for winter, that sort of thing, or wrapping it up for winter. So probably rubbing off on John. I wouldn't disagree with that. All right, so there's actually 4 blue ones in this, so it's this one and this one are blue still. So let's just shimmy to the next part. Oops. Which one? This one right here. Yeah, Marie says on YouTube, Kais are nice, pretty expensive, but I hear that people love them. I'm still happy with my Gingers and Fiskars, Pinkers. Yep. I have several Ginger scissors as well. Those are not super cheap either, but they're nice for sure. One of my favorite Ginger ones. I gotta get them all sharpened. I use them a lot for cutting wool. Back when I was making like these wool stuffed animal kitties. I should bring some of those back. Again, they were fun, but I cut a lot, and those are pretty thick, so it kind of stretched out my Ginger. I think it just kind of loosened it. They kind of bent a little bit, so I gotta get them repaired. But my favorite Ginger is the spring-loaded one. I'm sure it's not called spring-loaded, but you cut in it and then you don't have to open it again. It'll spring open, and it seems so silly, but that motion saves the hand so much when you're doing a ton of cutting. That spring jumping back. So I do like that Ginger. I have just tons of those. They all need to be sharpened. That's my problem. I need to make like a whole trip to the scissors sharpening shop and like get like 30 scissors. Not that many, but like, you know, a good 6 or 7 or 8 scissors sharpened, or looked at or repaired in some manner. So that's got to be on my to-do list soon here. But yeah, there's something about those Kai scissors. They just like cut like nothing, and they make such a nice sharp sound. I don't even know what it is, but they're nice. They actually come. Mine isn't like this, but they actually come in a serrated version. So I haven't tried one of these before, but one or both edges will be serrated, and in theory, and it's subtle, like you wouldn't really be able to tell, but in theory, the serration, when you cut, it kind of grabs the fabric, so your fabric won't like slide up the scissors or slide when you cut, like if you're cutting a bunch at once or something, or I don't know, just that motion of it slipping. The serrated edge makes it not slip, so I'm kind of curious about that. I know that Carolyn Freelander really likes the serrated ones. All right, that's it for the blue around that eyeball. Well, I guess we gotta weave in the end. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. I'm just looking at the next eyeball. Looks like it has 4 as well, and then we have the little cheekbone guys. Ugh, we might not have quite enough thread for all that, but let's hope so. Okay, let's see. So now, this guy is blue, so in theory we could start here and then jump to the blue, but I haven't made any jumps from one section to another. Maybe I shouldn't start now. Maybe I'll just have the back cleaner. I think I'm going to start with the eyes. Let's do those, and then I'll weave in the ends, and then we'll do this little edge here. We'll just keep going how we've been going. Don't want to cut corners now. I get a little reversed when I flip up like this, but here's where I want to start. 1, 2. I have to count out loud, otherwise if my brain starts thinking about something else, I'll be like, was that 2 or 3 times that I did that? All right, I'm going to start with this bloop here. Oh, that's a good question. Gretchen's asking, but how would they sharpen a serrated scissors? Well, ideally, I'm hoping the scissors are good enough that they don't need sharpening, but that's a good question. I've used my Kai scissors for a while now, and I don't think it doesn't feel at all like it needs any sort of sharpening. There is a Kai scissors that are cheaper, but than this like 7000 series ones, but I don't know how those fare. I think they do have different blade types, so I don't think all of them are serrated. I think there's different styles of the Kai scissors blade types. I think the serrated is a special feature of some of them. But man, I'm going to have to dig into that some more. Alright. Let's, I suppose, just weave into the next bump. Alright. This is our, just double checking, yep, this is our next guy. Again, I'm just rotating so that it feels the best in my hand. Oh, Barbara says that pinking shears can be sharpened, but I don't know how they do it. Maybe serrated are similar. Yeah, that's fascinating. That'd be an interesting thing to watch someone do, I think, is sharpen scissors, but yeah, sharpening a serrated edge or something, that'd be interesting. Or a pinking shears. Pinking shears are, I got one here. If you're not sure what those are, pinking shears are those scissors. So this is a Ginger. Oh, wait, no, what is this one? This is a Mundial. When did I get these? I don't know. But the pinking shears are serrated, and the idea with these are that you cut an edge of the fabric, and then it won't unravel. Like, you know, if I trimmed this edge of the fabric like this, then it wouldn't, like these little frayed edges wouldn't come off as easily. So that's what a pinking shears is used for. But yeah, to sharpen these, I don't know how one would do that. That's pretty interesting. All right, there we go. They make rotary cutter blades that pink the edge as well. Put those little zigzags in. Although I would think that would, I don't have one of those. I would think that would mess up. I don't know how you would use those with a ruler. That's like the question mark in my head for the pinking shears. All right, next up, that was 2. All right, I guess all the way over here for this one, and then we got this guy down here, and then that's it for the blue. So this one for sure, I'm going to go around the bend. Like, I don't want to jump. I don't want to jump across because that, you'll see that line there. So I'm just going to kind of weave in the backs of these stitches. There's a lot in these stitches, so it's pretty bulky. Okay, just on the other side of this green one, so right there. Yep, this one. Oh, we're getting there. Like I said, all these little inside face features I figured was going to take a long time. We are actually an hour in already, an hour and 20 minutes or so in. Marie says she has the rotary pinker from Fiskars, but haven't tried it yet. You'll have to let us know when you use it how it goes. Oops, got a little stuck there. All right, let's say that this takes till at least till 1. That's my guess. This will go at least till 1, finishing the stitching on this guy. And then let's say it takes, so that would be 2 hours. And then at least an hour. Yeah, you know what? We might be more close to the 4-hour mark than, 3 hours or 3.5. Maybe even longer. So this is going to be a lot of embroidering today, but thanks for chilling with me, and it'll be nice to get a project done. We will be jumping around a little bit for these French knots, so there will be jumps on the back, but still I don't think it'll look, all in all, it's going to have a nice looking back. All right, and I am low on floss. I do not think I'll have enough floss for these little guys, but maybe between this and a couple other pieces that we've used up, maybe I won't have to get any more, like unwind anymore. That'd be cool. Not that it matters. I can use a little bit more floss up. That's what it's there for. But it's kind of satisfying when you use up all the floss. Like when you're like, ha! I got 20 more stitches out of that little bit. All right. All that's left is his little cheeky cheeks there. Cheekbone petals. Okay, we're starting at the bottom. We'll see how far we get with this thread, and then, yeah, we'll try and scrounge up enough other scraps to get the rest if we need it. Oh, awesome, Teresa. Teresa says, thank you for doing a Saturday session. Highly motivating. Yep, it's the perfect day to just chill and do something for yourself. Get something done. definitely a treat to be spending a part of the day just crafting and making something. Gosh, I kind of want to roll up these other sides, like how I rolled up this with the clips. I almost want to roll up this, like just that little bit is kind of annoying. Yeah, we'll let it be. I think we'll get one more bloop out of here, but I don't think we'll get both. I'm going to treat that last stitch as like the first stitch on this one too. Hi Arloa. Arloa says just checking in. Ooh, Lynn says got a big pot of chicken stock on the stove, using up a lot of the garden herbs, celery, onions, and carrots. Gonna freeze it for winter. Ooh, I gotta do that. That's kind of on my list to do. I don't know if we have any, like it won't be chicken stock, but it'll be like a veggie stock. We have like spring onions in the garden yet that are growing, and I'm thinking we can get a ton of those tops to make some. Oh, I think we're gonna do it to make some like veggie stock, and we have some celery and stuff. I got some beans to do like a bean soup, or we got like a bean soup mix or something. Yay, we're gonna have enough thread. I'd love to get one of those guys going. Love soup so much. But yeah, we used up all our stock, so I'm without stock, and I hate being without stock. Oh, Valeria, you are just so sweet. I appreciate that a ton. Yeah, that's a new feature. The super chat feature. That's really sweet of you. I appreciate it. It all definitely helps me being able to keep doing these videos. All right, let's snip, 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 snip. We did not even need those other blue scraps. All right, here we are. We're getting there. Okay, what now? All right, we do have two other colors before the French knots. We have these eyeballs. We just never finished that, so why don't we do that? I think we're gonna have to get more. We're gonna get a fresh piece here. However, this color is used in the bat as well for these leaves, so I think I'll use my excess for that too. So I'm gonna just get my normal amount, and we'll use this on the bat, any of the extra. Forgot about these eyeballs the other day when we were stitching with this color. This is that California poppy color. It's so bright. I really like it. It just really, this is my favorite part, how much it pops in as those berries, those satin stitch berries. 2 and 3. All right. Let's match all of them up again. Hi, Christy. Christy's popping in on Facebook. You got so far? Yep, we are getting there. We're close. Close for sure. I'm feeling it. Oh, let's thread condition this again. We'll use the Earl Grey. Oh, nice. Ju says it's a holiday here in Chile. So relaxing, watching you stitch, making sashings for a quilt. Nice. Ooh, that sounds like a nice relaxing day. Relaxing holiday. Gosh, the more we talk about just quilting, the more I'm like, I want to get done with that the granny square quilt so I can work on the sashing and borders for that. So next week, we'll be working on the Aurifil quilt block again. I think we're going to weave in this area here because it's not as bulky. But yeah, so the fourth full week of the month is when we work on the Aurifil block of the month. Gosh, we're going to be done with that soon too. It's going to be December in no time, and December will be our last block for that. I don't know, in theory, I'll want to, like, sew all that up, turn it into at least a quilt top. So I suppose we'll go a little longer on that project to finish up the quilt top, just so I don't have a totally other unfinished project laying around. But that'll end real soon here. So that'll be kind of fun. So that's next week. It'll be September's block. They release it the 15th of the month, which is kind of when we typically start our embroidery. The third week is when we work on our embroidery of the month. That's what this is. And then the fourth week we do the Aurifil block of the month. And then the first full week of the month is when we're back on the granny square quilt. And that's the one that I think that's the quilt I'm most excited about. If I'm playing favorites, that's the one I'm most excited about right now. The other one we're working on is the Splendid Sampler 2, and I still do really like that one too, but that one just almost feels like a never-ending project. We'll get there eventually. I am excited about that because we're doing the quilt as you go technique, so we're getting a lot of quilt practice with that, and I'm super stoked to be getting all that practice in. And then the Aurifil block of the month, that's fun. I got to be July's designer for that, so I'm one of the 12 designers for that project. Jeez, look how much that made his face pop, getting that orange eyeball in. That really made us look close to Dawn, didn't it? All right, 1, 2, 3, and then we got some unfinished quilt projects hanging out here yet. We got the I Love Home quilt, although that has been, the back of that's done now. So all we have to do for that is sandwich it and start stitching it, or quilting it. So that's a step further than it's been. That was our this month's Finish It Friday. So the first Friday of every month, we stop what we're working on and get an unfinished project out and work on that instead. And that was the back of my I Love Home quilt. So I think I'm going to bring that to my parents' house next time I'm there because they have a bigger floor. It'll be easier to put the batting in and all that. Yeah, that's true. Randy says that with having on YouTube, with having a project plan, it sure makes the month pass quickly. It's true. I mean, it is. I've been really liking having this plan. So this year was the first time we've kind of done that. So every week we're dedicating to a project, and we only, like for the granny square quilt, for example, we only work on that the first week of the month, and then we stop and work on something else, and then we don't pick it up again until the next month. So it takes a while to get anything done, right? Because we're only working on it. For one week of the month, so that's only like 5 hours, right? Every night for the week. So 5 hours a month we're working on a project. But it is kind of nice that break from a project takes some of the tediousness out of these long-term projects, these marathon projects. And then there's time to get excited about it again. So that's kind of fun. So I'm liking the process. It does take a while, but it does allow us to work on more things at once and get excited for it again. That was a big help. That really pops, those two eyes in there. All right, we're in the last stretch here, I think. So we still have the yellow. There's some yellow little petals around the eyes yet. Just a couple, so we'll do that. Do I have any yellow here? I think I gotta cut a whole new piece of yellow. Oh, but the bat has yellow in as well. So if I cut a piece now, I can use it for that one. Because we're gonna be stitching the bat today too. All right, so let's get some yellow. But yeah, just these yellow flower bloops. There's only 5 of them, and then we just got the French knots all over the place. That's in the tiger lily color, that kind of orangey, yellow orangey bit. It's the same color as this. All these French knots, and then that's it. We'll be moving on to the bat. So let's see, how are we doing now? 12:30. So yeah, I think that this was a 2-hour project finishing up this guy, and yeah, I still think that bat, if I'm going to guess, is going to be an hour and a half. I think an hour might be cutting it real close, so I think an hour and a half, and then, again, this is me totally guessing, and then we'll take the stick and stitch off of both of them at once, or right after each other, really. And then I figure that'll take about a half hour or so. So where does that leave us? That leaves us, what, at 2 hours? 2.5 hours yet. That's my guess. So what's that? That's 1 to 2. That's 3 o'clock. Does that sound right? No, 2 o'clock. I don't know. That would require thinking and math. That's a weekday thing, not a weekend thing. It's math. It's true. I should have a slurp of something. I do my coffee here. I'll have a sip of coffee when we're done with this. Done with the pumpkin here. We're going through like all our stuff in the house, just the stuff, just to kind of get rid of things, and like, does it bring joy sort of thing. Like, we have so many mugs, so we recently were like, let's get rid of all the ones that we hate or don't use ever, or at least bring them to the office. That's what we've been doing, bringing them to the office, so they're not completely gotten rid of yet. But now we're down to just our favorite mugs. And so it's an extra pleasure to... Ooh, I should have gone in the other direction, but oh well. It's an extra pleasure to drink out of them, which is fun. Barbara says exactly. It's wrong to try thinking with weekend brain. Exactly. Ooh, this adds a little bit of a pop to the eye. It's a little yellow, some brightness. So for these French knots, I could go weave in between of each of them, so there's not big jumps, but I think I'm going to just say who cares. We're going to just jump in between those. I don't think we're going to gain anything by weaving them into the backs, really. All right, one more petal on him. We'll just go through the back here. There we go. So much bulk happening on the backs of these. Lots of thread involved in these eyes. And there's 3 of these bloops on the other eye. Almost caught my finger and pulled it all pulled it all out. There we go. I'm just thinking, I'm also excited about this weather because I get to wear the sweater that I'm wearing today. It's like the only time of year that I get to wear it. There's like one day that I can wear this sweater because I like this sweater a ton, but it's short sleeves, which, you know, I don't do well with that when it's cold out, but it's too warm to wear when you need to wear short sleeves. So there's like a literal teeny tiny window that I can wear it, and that window is today. So I'm pretty excited about it. That time of year, the one day that I can wear this sweater. It'll be nice to go for a walk outside. Okay. Fun little odd bloop here. Kathy says on Facebook, with everything going on, being at home so much, I feel like I'm weakened-brained every day. I hear ya. It's tough. I swear, I had a vision yesterday that it was Saturday, and then I had to figure out, oh my God, I missed a whole day. Like, I missed Friday. What did I do on Friday? Like, I had a picture of completely losing a day and not being able to figure out what happened. Ugh. I think we're going to make this one stitch. Alright, let's weave to the next one. I'm getting antsy. We're almost done with this one. Getting close. Oh, Lynn says, went for a hike this morning and took lots of pics of the fall wildflowers. It's a beautiful fall day here in southern Wisconsin. Ooh, southern Wisconsin is beautiful for sure. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, like I was saying yesterday, I think I saw, or I at least noticed, maybe they were there before, but I noticed the first kind of yellowing leaves on my drive home, and it was nice and cool out. I'm like, oh, fall's starting officially. All right, here's our last little face bloop. Then we'll just have the French knots left. And I think we do need to cut more thread for that. I'm out of the tiger lily. Or any excess of the tiger lily. This yellow is pretty. There we are, little eyeballs. Cool. All right, let's weave that end in and get our French knots. Last bit. And I do think that bat, it was maybe a lot to decide to do the bat today as well. It's a lot of embroidery, but I think it'll be fun. Ooh, Lynn says her next project will be some tatting projects for Christmas. That's exciting. Okay, last up, just all these little French knots around the eyes and some around the chin there. Let's do the eyes first. The eyes have it. All right. So French knots do take quite a bit of floss, so I am getting my normal, like 24 inches or so. The other day, I think it was Thursday, we went over the 3 things you might be doing wrong with your French knots. Like if you're having trouble with your French knots for any reason, or you don't know the reason, I suspect it's one of the 3 reasons that we talked about on Thursday. So if that's you, be sure to check out Thursday's video of this. I think that was Thursday. But today we're just going to move ahead with them. Alright, let's get, I'm liking the rainfall today. Rainfall flavor. So there you can kind of tell the difference. So here's just the end that I did wax. They're all kind of together, and then right here where I didn't wax yet, all the threads are a little separate, kind of doing their own thing. So the wax, the thread conditioner, kind of helps hold all that together nicely, and that just kind of prevents knots, prevents little hiccups, and it smells good. All right, where to start? I think let's start at this knot right here, because I can weave in some of the ends and go boop, 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 all the way around. Oop, almost flung my needle across the room. Now, trying to thread without a nice clean end. Let's just get a nice sharp end here. We'll go in the back of this yellow, I think. Yay, this is it here. I'm going to cut those little threads. I think they're going to get in my way. Oh, Betty Joe is asking, how can I get to where I can see everyone's finished projects? In the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. So if you just go to Facebook and start typing in Penguin and Fish, you'll probably see, in the search, you'll probably see the Penguin and Fish Crafters group pop up. Just click that, and there'll be a couple questions, just basically what are you working on, and if you want to sign up to the newsletter or not, and if so, you can put in your email. Those are the questions. It just helps us sift through like spam accounts and stuff, so be sure to answer those, and you should be let in theory within the day, and then that's where people are posting whatever they're working on. It doesn't even have to be the project that we're working on, just whatever crafty thing you're doing. It's just a fun place to encourage each other and just see what everyone's doing. Oh, these are so cute. Oh, Lana says twilling the bat might be real cute. I don't know what that means. What's twilling? I'm gonna have to look that up. Is that like a turkey stitch or something? Oh. All right. 2 more on this guy, and then we'll do the other eye. Then his little chin dots. I can barely reach these. I do like holding those loops down as I pull the thread through, just so I don't get weird French knots. Oh, Lana, I'm going to have to look that up when we're done, because I'll definitely want to give that a go. Alright, here's the one eyeball. Oh, it's so sunny and pretty with those French knots. Okay, I'm liking that a lot. And it's got like a cute little sunshine shape around it on the back. That's works for me. Oh, Kathy says, I saw it demonstrated the twilling and already forgot how to do it. I'm going to look that up. It's kind of fun to add some of these other stitches in our repertoire here. Okay. Oof, we are going to run out of this floss. Do I have enough for this shape, do I think? We'll give it a go. I guess let's just start at this sideways one here. I'll weave in these ends. They seem like a good spot. Kind of right in the middle here. Okay. Oh, Marie on YouTube says, isn't twilling like a paper craft? Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. That's like, isn't that where you roll the paper up into like little curly cues and then you make designs with it? Oh, Lana says that someone posted the twilling on the crafters page. Oh, I'm going to have to look at that again. Ugh, this is... we should have maybe done the bottom, the chin with the thread that I had left and then got a new piece of thread for these French knots. I don't know if we're going to have enough thread to go all the way around. And it's kind of annoying to make French knots when you are low on thread. Like the shorter the thread, the harder it is to like make these loops, I think. We're going to do our best. We have 5 more here. Oh, Catherine says that she posted the twilling on the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. I'll have to take a look at it again. Oh, twilling. Oh, LaDonna. Okay, yep, LaDonna is saying it's quilling. Quilling is the paper craft. That feels more familiar. Yeah, quilling is the paper where you take all the paper and you twirl it around and make shapes and stuff. Quilling. That sounds more familiar. Gretchen says, I'm loving those needle minders. I'm just finding out about those. I am hoping to have some penguin and fish needle minders at some point here. Working on that. Okay, Judy is saying that twilling is kind of like a line of connected knots that lay on the fabric. Ooh, that sounds cute. Usagi says, oh, it wouldn't let you post the link here. So look up twilling stitch border design, hand embroidery, twilling stitch border design. All right, I will look that up when we're done here. All right, we had just enough thread, thank goodness. So I'm gonna weave in the end. And we just have the 4 little chin dots and we will be done. And just at the 2-hour mark, I think. So let's get that going here. Back is still looking pretty good, I would say. Oh no, Lynn says I dropped a needle in the carpet and still haven't found it. Eee, that's scary. All right, I'm definitely, when we're done here, I'm definitely going to be looking up twilling and doing that. I like keeping to my basic stitches, so whenever there's like a fun other stitch, I always have to like look it up and learn that. I feel like if you can do all these basic stitches though, you should be able to pretty easily, after seeing the instructions on other stitches, kind of be able to do it. So I have confidence that we'll be able to do this twilling. I'm going to look into it. Sounds really pretty. Oh, Judy says that twilling is an old stitch used a lot, white on white. Oh, okay. Now that you say that, I think I have a picture in my head a little bit more of it, because I've seen a lot of that, like, not looking things on the white on white. That would be really fun to try. Maybe even not a white on white, but like a same on same. Like we could do blue thread on blue fabric or something, or black on black, or whatever. But like that look is so cool, where it's just like the one color on the same color. It's so subtle, but it's just feels so special and pretty. This is it, our last 4 stitches. And then we still got the bat, so I'm still going to do the bat here as well. And we're going to be taking off the stick and stitch, so we will have these completely finished by the time we're done here. Yeah, so I'm thinking we'll be here at least another good 2 hours. So thanks for hanging out with me. I know this is a way longer deal than our normal hour-long weeknight shows, but every once in a while I like just moving ahead on a project by having these Saturday stitch-alongs. Alright, this is it. Our last little filler. There we are. Ooh, that is really kind of cute down there, isn't it? Alright. Done. Let's weave in the end, and we'll take it out of the hoop here. Then it'll be official. I guess we're not done. We still have to take off the Fabrisolvi, or not the Fabrisolvi, the stick and stitch. Sulky changed the name of their stabilizer from Fabrisolvi to stick and stitch, so I still every once in a while slip and call it Fabrisolvi. I don't think I got the beginning little snip, so let's get that. There we go. All right, and the back is looking good. I think this would be acceptable if you accidentally hung it up backwards. wherever you're hanging your piece. And there we go. Done. All right, let's unclip him. So I had these little clips in there to hold back all the rest of the tea towel. And we can get him out of the hoop here. So it will have that little crinkle from the hoop, but that will go away once we get this wet. It'll go away right away. So, all right, done with the 8-inch hoop. So the 8-inch hoop is not part of the bundle. The tea towel is, and the sticker and the floss and a couple needles, but the hoop is not, because I know a lot of people have the hoop, but I do have those in the shop too, for sure, if you need a hoop. All right, you guys, that is it for him. Let's take a moment. I'm gonna here's my leftover coffee in one of my favorite mugs. It's this like gorgeous blue. I'm gonna take a sip of that. Oh, still really good. And we are gonna start this guy here. All right. One more sip. Okay, let's do it. Oh, Barbara says, I love all your designs, but this is one of the very best. Oh, I appreciate that. That's so sweet. I'm really liking this guy too. Actually, I'm really excited about him. This little bat. He's been kind of sitting around in my sketches for a while, and finally finished him up. All right, so for the bat. Oh, Marie says, thank you, I enjoy working with you on a Saturday. Yeah, the nice thing is that it's a little bit different. We usually do it earlier in the day on a Saturday. So, I mean, not everyone can come, but other people can come too that can't come to the nightly ones. So it just, the difference in time is kind of nice every once in a while. All right, taking a big breath. Let's just stretch for a second. I'll switch back here for a sec, you guys. There. Hello again. So I am just doing, if you guys are working on this too, I would just kind of give a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of a back stretch, roll the shoulders a little bit. And I always kind of like this one where you pull down your fingers like that, and then you can actually go up this way. It's kind of, it's like a prayer this way, and then up this way, and that kind of helps the wrists a little bit. But all right, we are going to stitch up this guy now. And I do have all the pieces here. I mean, we have the floss and stuff, and we have a needle. I'm just going to use the same needle. And we have fabric and the stick and stitch sticker guy. Some of these colors, actually 3 of these colors are also used in that pumpkin, so I probably won't open these. I'll probably use the colors that I already have open from the pumpkin. But there is that one extra color, this dark purple. This is the wood violet, so we're gonna be using that as well. Ooh, that actually kind of matches my scissors. So that's kind of fun. So all right, let's start on this next piece. So thanks again, guys, for joining me. I appreciate it. All right, back at it. So first thing is, we don't need him anymore. I am going to switch over to the bat. So again, this comes with the bundle, the PDF pattern, and you can do the PDF pattern on its own as well, if you didn't need all of it. So I'm going to just zoom ahead on here till, there we go. So this, let's just blow it up. This has the stitches, the stitches, and then also the colors used. So this is what I'm going to have open near me to see what color goes where, what stitch goes where. Okay, so let's put this guy aside. He can live up here for now. And again, we're going to take off that stick and stitch once we're done here. All right, so I have my fabric piece. It's just this little like 6-inch square. I have my 4-inch embroidery hoop, which will be perfect for this size. And then my floss, but like I said, I think I'm gonna save these for later, and I'm just gonna use that dark purple because the other ones are with the first kit. Okay. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna trim this extra edge. I don't need all of that on there, so I'm gonna grab from my wall here. I'm gonna grab my my paper scissors. This is like a totally broken, horrible, just little, whatever scissors from, the cheap scissors. I'm gonna have to get a new one though soon because the handle is like literally broken off, but it does the job for this sort of stuff. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of trim this all the way around. I think it'll fit in the hoop a little bit better, and we just don't need all that extra. All right, I think that'll work. So there we go. I think it'll fit in the hoop a bit better, so that's good. All right, let's scooch down again here. Okay, little Batty bat. So, you know what? I suppose we could press this fabric. I'm going to heat up the iron quick. It's folded when it comes in the bundle. I don't think it would hurt to stitch on it with this little crease in there. It's not a huge crease, and it's going to go away when we get this wet anyway, but we're here. Let's make it look pretty. So I'm going to grab my pressing mat, and we'll start out by giving that a little press. I'm just waiting for it to heat up. So you could also, I haven't printed it out, but if you print out the Trace Me page of the pattern, you'll get a printout of your design here. You could actually trace it on. Like if you didn't get the bundle and you don't have any stick and stitch at home, and so you don't have this sticker, just print out the Trace Me page, and then you could tape this to a window, and then you could just take a pencil or your water-soluble marker and, sketch the design on there. And this will all kind of wash away as well. So these I have in the shop. They're awesome. I love having a water-soluble marker around. But again, we're going to use, there you go. It looks like this, and it just washes off with water. You can just dab water on it, it'll go away. But I'm going to use my sticker here. All right, I think we're probably heated enough. Yeah, that just makes it look a little nicer at the beginning, at the get-go. All right. Get that out of my way, and let's take this sticker off. So it has a backing paper. That's just to, protect the stickiness like any other sticker. You don't need that anymore. It's garbage. And then it's kind of like paper, kind of like fabric. It's a lot looser, but it won't stretch really or anything. And I'm going to just put that right in the center. I suppose I could have put it on where I drew those lines on, that blue line, but I didn't. It's here now. It is replaceable. You can take it off and put it back on, but if you do that too much, it won't stick as much. This can sometimes, when it's humid, make your needle a little gummy. Just wet the needle and wipe it off. That should help a little bit, but I think that's happened the most to me when it's just so humid out, like just unbearably humid. So hopefully, gotta make this a little bit bigger. Hopefully that won't be too much of an issue. So if this isn't perfectly centered, that's fine. I'm gonna recenter it in the hoop later to make it cuter after we're done stitching. So I'm just getting in the hoop. I want the fabric taut, but not really stretched. So I'm just trying to pull it equally across and then tighten it and see it's going. Kathy's asking, have you ever had any trouble with the water-soluble marker lines coming back after you wash them out? So I haven't had trouble with them coming back. However, I've I've done it where I haven't really washed them out enough. So they'll kind of bleed to the edge, like to the edge of wherever the wetness was. So like if I dab it, it might be on the edge of like that puddle. So I think you just gotta really, it works best if you really kind of soak all of that, the water erasable marker out. I think that's kind of worked the best for me. But I haven't had trouble with it coming back. With the friction pens, I know a lot of people like using that. Those can come back if they get cold. But the water soluble marker, that should be just like completely gone. It shouldn't linger. All right. Let's see. We're good here. All right. What do we want to stitch first? Let's take a look at this. Let's just kind of plan out what we're doing here. All right. So the moon shape, that is going to be a chain stitch. So that'll be like a nice bulky stitch. I do kind of like doing that. So typically I stitch the thing that's furthest back first, because then we can stitch over the top of it, and the edges will be hidden. So in this case, it would be that moon. The moon is the furthest thing back, and then we stitch the things on top of it. But I always like starting out with the character, so I don't know. I kind of am tempted to just get right in it. But you know what? Maybe I will stitch this in order from back to front. So I'm going to start out with the moon. And now this one I am going to jump around a little bit more. Like I'm going to, once I finish here, I'm going to just jump up to there, instead of weaving it in and starting fresh, like how I did with the tea towel, the pumpkin, because, who cares? No one's going to see the back, really. I'm going to just jump up. Unless it's really visible behind, then I won't. But, yeah, I think I'm going to stitch the yellow first. And then I think we'll stitch all the little light purple parts. Then I think we'll stitch the red parts, these California poppy orange parts. And then I think our last thing is going to be the outline. So a little opposite feeling, but it will be easier to stitch this outline because we'll be going over stitches that are already there. We won't have to tuck our stitches under later. So I think we'll be fine. That's the order we're going to go in. So let's start with that yellow. I think I have some left over. Ooh, I have a whole big piece left over. That's excellent from the other one. So we'll start with this. I suspect we'll need more. Oh, Lynn says that she stitched hers on the back of the towel. No one's going to notice. No one's going to notice at all. All right. My needle's right here. Okay, let's do that reverse chain stitch on this, because I do like my reverse chain stitch versus the normal chain stitch. So we did talk about this in the pumpkin one, so I'm not going to get too far into it. Ooh, I need to start with an away knot. Have not done the away knot in a while. We've been just weaving into the backs of the stitches. So I'm still not going to do any knots on the back like how the pumpkin was. I'm just going to weave in all the ends. But to do that, I need like some thread on reserve to weave it in. So I'm going to use the away knot again. I'm going to do it a little kind of differently here because I need about like 4 inches. I'm going to start right here. I'm going to need like 4 inches, but my thread isn't really big enough for that. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to start here from the front, and then I'm going to go over here. Let's go way over here and make a little stitch. And then, so it's out of the way of everything I'm going to be stitching, pretty much. I might have to watch it when I get up to here, but I don't think I'll have enough thread for that. And then I'm going to jump down here. So I'm reserving like this much thread for later. So that'll be good. That'll be so I can weave in the stitches. And I maybe reserved a bit more than I needed, but oh well. It'll be easier then. So alright, I'm starting with that tiny anchor stitch. And then this will be where my first real stitches. So let's get this down here, and then I'm going to get my needle in that little loop. This is for the reverse chain stitch. Let's tighten that up. This is the only weird, kind of awkward thing for the reverse chain stitch that's different than the forward one. All right. All right, there we go. That's half of our first stitch, and we'll finish it up by putting it in the same hole as we started. And there's our first chain stitch that's also been anchored down. All right. So next stitch, I'm going to just swoop underneath. So I've gone underneath the last two stitches and back down. Okay, so Jean is asking, do I always use the beeswax, that thread conditioner? I don't. So we talked about this a little bit earlier. I'm pretty new to using a thread conditioner, and really you don't need it. You don't have to use it. It is like a little extra nice tool, I think. It helps keep my threads a little bit more together while I stitch, and helps prevent some knots from happening, I think. But all in all, I've just started to use it lately. I'm kind of getting into it, and it just smells, this particular brand smells really nice, so it's kind of just nice and fun to use. But you definitely do not need a thread conditioner to do any of this. I'm just using it for funsies lately. I can kind of tell that it is holding my threads together a little bit better, so that'll help prevent knots. Ah, this is looking cute already. Cute little big moon. So I'm kind of making my chain stitches kind of big. This is my normal way of chain stitching, but you can make them smaller too. That's totally fine. Whatever feels right for you. We're getting to that first leaf. I'm just going to jump right over it from the back side and continue stitching. And I suspect we will need more thread for this. We're already getting low. Hopefully we won't need more than 2 though. Oh, Teresa says I haven't stitched this long in weeks. Starting to yawn. Need a coffee refill. Go for it. Sounds good. Rebecca says John could come in and stitch while I take a break. That'd be fun. I think he would actually like doing this little guy. I think he'd be a little maybe intimidated by the chain stitches. He'd have to watch how to do that again, but the rest of it I think he could do. All right, that was quick. That's our first little moon shape down there. Oh, Jean is wondering why I'm doing the reverse chain stitch. It would take me longer to do than the regular chain stitch. So I like the reverse chain stitch because there's less like thread to manage. I mean, it is a little awkward doing this first little thing here, but I find that being able to swoop, that part where I swoop underneath the stitch that was there prior, I find that easier. Like I don't have to loop my fabric, or I don't have to like make, I don't have to make like this loop shape that I have to try and stitch into and then come up through. I can just go through what already existed there, which I just find it easier. You can, I mean, if I was doing the sewing method where I just went in and out, the normal method of chain stitch, I think that would be pretty quick. But I like this stabbing motion where I'm coming up and then all the way down. For me, it's just more comfortable. So it's just a preference. And I've been doing it a lot lately, and I'm liking it. We did go over how to do the other one, though, when I was going through the pumpkin embroidery earlier this week. So, for sure, if anyone wants to give that a try, go for it. I just like this part where I don't have to worry about my thread behind me, don't have to get anything in the right position. I can just sort of completely ignore that. All right, what I think I'm going to do is stop at the bottom of this wing instead of jumping across here to get to the next line. Because since I started here underneath this wing, and if I end here, and I'm almost out of thread, I'm not going to be able to get this whole thing for sure. But I can, do I have any? Oh yeah, I do have some yellow left over. I can not have this leap, so I won't be able to see that thread underneath. So that'll be good. I'll just be leaping, doing jumps across these short little bits. I think that'll be good. Yeah, because I'm not going to get much more out of this. And then I can weave in that other away knot too. So here we are. It looks like a back stitch on the back. It's a little hard to weave in the ends when you're close to the hoop with the smaller hoop, but we'll do it. Okay, I'm going to snip away that thread we had on reserve, and we'll weave that in as well. There, that's how we get it so our back has no knots. And I like that because, first of all, your thread, when you're stitching other things, other lines, you won't accidentally hook a loop on a knot that's on the back. I'm sure if you've embroidered, this has probably happened where you've stitched like 20 stitches and then you realize, oh my gosh, I have this giant loop because my thread was caught on a knot, and I'm not going to redo all these stitches I just did, so I got this big crazy knot, or this loop on the back. So this avoids that because there's nothing to catch onto. All right, so I'm going to start up here and finish this off. I am going to use another away knot though because I don't really have anything to stitch into. Let's see, I don't really have much thread left though. I think I am going to have to cut more thread because we were just using some leftover. Yeah, that's not going to get me very far. I'm going to cut a whole new piece and just be done with it. Alright, let's get, all our fuzzles are starting to get everywhere. We'll get our, oop, lost it there. Get our 3 strands out of here. 2. 3. Okay. Sure, we won't need more than that. I think we're going to do the purple next, or the light purple. I think after we're done with this yellow, we shouldn't need to do any away knots anymore, because there'll be enough stitches to weave into the backs of. All right. Let's just get a nice end here. Let's snip a nice edge. Okay, I'm going to do another away knot. This time though, I think I'm just going to go way over here and then jump to the starting point. I think that'll be enough for us. I'm going to do 2 stitches in this little space, I think. So again, I am going to just do that reverse chain stitch so they're all going in the same direction. Actually, I'm just going to do 1 stitch here. Looks small enough that I can get away with 1. Yeah, I mean, reverse chain stitch does start pretty weird, but for the rest of the process, I do like it. For something this small, it would have been easy to do the normal chain stitch, but oh well. All right, I'm gonna jump down here now. We'll do this in 2 stitches. So remember, when you're doing the chain stitch, to not pull the thread super tight. You want that teardrop shape still. And if you pull it super tight, which I was kind of pulling it maybe a little too tight over here, if you pull it too tight, it'll look like just 2 straight stitches next to each other. And in theory, we want to keep that teardrop shape. In theory. You can have it look however you want, but if you want that like more teardrop chain looking look, then yeah, leave it a little loose. It's kind of nice stitching this guy up after the pumpkin, because this guy's gonna go so quickly. Like, I feel like we got a ton done already, just with this moon, this outline. I mean, I guess some of the inside stuff is gonna take a little while. There are a lot of little stitches going on. So this uses 3 different stitches. Well, in theory, maybe kind of 4 different stitches. The chain stitch, which is what we're doing now. The eyes are those 2 little French knots. And then just a normal back stitch that's my typical go-to for outlines. And then his nose has 2 little single chain stitches, which is very similar to the chain stitch that we're doing now, or lazy daisy stitch. In the pattern, I called it a lazy daisy stitch. It's really a single chain stitch. A lazy daisy stitch is just several single chain stitches, typically around a point. So should maybe have just called it a single chain stitch, but I think a lot of people use those interchangeably. Technically, it's a single chain stitch. Last little bit. Tighten that up. Our neighbors are moving, so they're having a yard sale right now. I wonder if John's checking out that at all. So we'll have some new neighbors soon. All right, 2 more and then we'll be done. Yeah, I just find this reverse chain stitch just a little more calming and a little bit more less thinking to do and less, getting everything in the right position than a normal chain stitch. So I still like that reverse chain stitch. It looks exactly the same except for it goes in the opposite direction, but no one's gonna know whether you went clockwise or counterclockwise when you stitched. So not that anyone would care anyway, I suppose. All right, we're done with the yellow. That's good and quick. All right, I'm going to just snip our little knot away here, just snipping on the back since we're already here. Let's weave in that little end. And I'm going to do the light purple next, but I'm going to start in a spot where I can weave into the end of some of this yellow, because I don't want to use an away knot again. I'd like to just be able to weave into the backs now. It's a bit easier. Maybe uses up a little less thread. There we go. Okay, let's do that light purple. So all of basically anything that's not an outer line is pretty much the light purple, except for some bits on the face. So all of these lines are light purple. All of the little arm, like skeleton bits, and this little guy, and all of his fuzz are all light purple. And then dark purple for all the outer bits and his face. So let's start there. I think I'm going to weave in the end right here, and then we'll start with some of these inside lines here, and then I think I'll weave into the back just to get back up here, and then stitch here, stitch all his little fuzzles, and then come out this side and do the same thing. I think that's my plan. So all right, we had some purple from the last project, so I'm going to keep using this instead of starting a fresh new piece. Uh-oh, tying a little knot on myself there. All right, there we are. Let's separate this thread. All right. 1, 2, and 3. Again, use however many strands you want. The number of strands you use will be one determining factor of how thick your lines look. And 3 is my go-to. Actually, though, we are working on October's embroidery of the month, so we already have that almost finished. I'm almost done with the pattern writing for it. But that one, when we stitch it, we are actually going to use 2 strands of thread. So I don't know if that's a little maybe hint of something to come. I don't know if it's really that big of a hint. But our next embroidery, we're going to use 2 strands only instead of 3. So they'll be a little bit thinner lines in it. Okay. I said right there we're going to start. All right, so I'm going to weave in the end. So instead of starting the away knot, I got stitches here in place already, so I don't need to do that away knot again. Once I got stitches, then you can weave in the backs of those. Two, 3, Like I said, I count out loud for when I go back and forth, because it's that third time where it kind of locks the thread in place. And sometimes if my brain wanders, then I will do it on the... I'll forget if I was on 2 or 3. Or if I was... Yeah, and then I'll, sometimes accidentally add a fourth. Alright, this is all going to be backstitch. Again, you can use whatever stitch you want to. We'll do this in 2 more stitches. Ooh, I love these little designs that go quickly. Catherine says, exciting, must be more delicate. That could be. Yep, that's true. And I think we'll maybe go over that. Amy says, or Amy says, you can use the loop method of starting, since the number of threads are even with 2. So yes, there is a special way you can start. So we've been weaving in the ends, but with 2 strands, you can actually take 1 strand, long strand, and double it up to make 2. And you'll have a loop at one end, and you can kind of go through that loop. I'm going to have to look up how to do this again, because I haven't done it in a long time. But you can actually go through that loop, and that will hold it in place, and it will look like you've done nothing on the back. Like, it won't look like you've woven in the ends. There won't be any knots. That is kind of a neat feature of using two strands, stitching with 2 strands. So I'm excited about that. I haven't done that in ages, so like I said, I'm gonna have to look up how to do it again to make sure, but that's gonna be like a fun feature as well from using 2 strands. All right, so instead of jumping up here, I'm gonna just kind of weave in the back here to get back up there. I suppose I could have just jumped. It's not that far away, but it is maybe a little cleaner to weave in the back to get to your next spot. We have this little kind of inner arm part. Oh, Sylvia says that she does that way, that looping method for cross stitch. Yeah, that's great. Gosh, it'd be fun to do a cross stitch again. Let me know if you guys ever would want to do a cross stitch for the embroidery of the month. It's a form of embroidery. It takes a while. Cross stitch, we would definitely have to do a smaller design like this, because cross stitch takes a surprisingly long amount of time. So kind of like how our when we did that thread painting, that with the Your Sweet embroidery of the month a little while back. Actually, that was last month. It's not a while back. It takes a long time, like how that takes a long time to do cross stitch, but it's so satisfying, I think. I would have to get some of that cloth and stuff, though, too, that Ada cloth, that even weave cloth. So cross-stitch fabric is a bit different. I mean, you could cross-stitch on a normal fabric. However, it typically uses a fabric called even weave fabric, and one of the brands is Ada, A-I-D-A. And that usually means like there's 4 strands woven this way, then 4 strands woven this way, and then there's like a little space, and then 4 more strands and 4 more strands. And what it does is it creates these little holes like every 4 stitches or so, or 4 threads, and you stitch, those are like guidelines for you. So you make your little X's by going into those holes. It's an easy way of doing it. Now you don't have to do it that way. Like linen is a very popular thing to do cross stitch with, like really kind of fancy cross stitch. And you can see all the threads there, and what you do is just like come up and then skip a couple threads and go in. It's a bit more difficult. So another way, and maybe we could do it this way, another way that you can stitch on like a normal fabric like this, like a normal, tightly woven fabric, but still do cross stitch, is you can actually print out a grid on like water soluble paper like this, like the sulky stick and stitch. That's what we're using right now. you can print a grid on there and then stick that grid onto any fabric that you want, any quilting weight or whatever fabric, and then use those guides as to make your X's. And that'd be a way to stitch on like a fun, colorful fabric, or a fabric that you want to, like if you're making a quilt, for example, you might not want to use like cross-stitch fabric in the quilt. Like maybe that'd be a little weird. So you could still use your normal quilt weight fabric and still have that cross-stitch look. That might be a fun way of doing it. Versus having the actual even weave fabric on hand. So these aren't really back stitches right now. It's kind of just, they're almost like seed stitches, which are just one little stitch. A lot of times this particular style of stitching is used as padding. So if I was going to do a satin stitch across his whole body, if I do these stitches on the inside first, the satin stitches would all be like raised up just a little bit. So oftentimes this kind of seed stitch, these little single stitches, are used for padding in satin stitches, but we're just using them as little fuzzles. So we're gonna run out of floss here. I'm hoping to get these lines in with this floss, but the next thing I think we'll weave in the backs here, get these lines coming down, get his little head hairs, and then get those lines coming back up, and then we'll be done with the light purple. Quick, quick, quick. Nice, fun, quick little bitty embroidery. This would be really fun to turn into a patch at some point. You could really do anything with these embroideries, but this one's like a fun little size. You could, I don't know, fuse it to some felt, stitch a little like blanket stitch on the edge. Ooh, I have a little idea on how we could do that. We could sew another circle to it and then turn it right side out, and then it'd be like an applique piece that we could put on something. We won't do all that today, but that would be kind of fun. We do have some extra days this month, so September going in October is a little bit goofy. It's one of these months where it's right in the middle of a week, and we've been doing our projects as full weeks. So at the end of the month, we will have like a whole week that we can just do whatever we want. So maybe one of those days will turn this guy into a little applique piece or a patch. That would be kind of fun. But yeah, so we have a bonus week between this month and October. So that'll be fun. We'll have a Finish It Friday within then. So that also means that we won't have to take a day away of working on the Granny Square quilt for our Finish It Friday. That will just be, we can have that be its own week. That's always fun. All right, I gotta get both of these little arm lines, and I'm not quite sure I'll have enough floss for that, but I think I might. Ooh, I'm making one of those knots here. Oh, look at his cute little belly. It's fun starting to see those black outlines go away. It's like we're dressing them up. So there's the question, cross stitch or counted? So I would think we would do counted cross stitch. So there is cross stitch. There's like basically, as far as I know, I haven't dug into this for a long time, but I started out doing a lot of cross stitch. So there's basically printed cross stitch or stamped. I think a lot of times it's called stamped cross stitch. And then also counted cross stitch. So stamped cross stitch is where all the X's are already drawn on your fabric. So you just go over the stitches, go over the lines that are already there, the colors that are already there. Whereas counted cross stitch, you just have a grid, like a blank grid. And then you have a separate pattern where it's all that grid is filled in. And so you have to count, like, okay, there's 5 stitches here, and then the next row has like 6 stitches, and it starts from the end of this one. And so you're kind of, it's almost like little pixels. So you're going through those blank, the blank grid, and it just being like, okay, 5 down, 4 over, that's where I start. And then you're just filling in this blank grid with the stitches. I find that to be my favorite way of doing it, because it's kind of magic, because your design just starts appearing on this blank page, and it's just so fun. A lot of people don't like all that counting, and it's just, you're dealing with like some small little X's and stuff too, but I do think it's rather fun. I have not done that. I haven't done a counted cross stitch in ages, but it's fun. Just that reveal of it starting to develop is just really cool. All right, I do have quite a bit of thread left, but I think by the time I weave it in, I don't know, I don't think I have enough for those ears and the face. So I think I'm just going to start up my second piece just because I have it. Okay, again, it's a little awkward weaving in the ends when you're this close to the hoop. I could use a bigger hoop. You can also move the hoop around. I wouldn't have to have my design centered in the hoop, but it just kind of works for this design. It's kind of annoying to move the hoop around, so we're just doing this. All right. Snip. It's looking cute. Here we go so far. So now I'm going to come in, weave in the ends here, do that, or maybe I'll weave them in here, because I don't think there's anything woven into the backs of these yet. Do these guys, these little fuzzles there. I'm thinking I might do the dark purple next, just because then I have something to weave into to do his little teeth. So we'll do the red last. We'll finish him up, his body next, and then we'll do the that California poppy color last. Gosh, this is going quick. Although, I mean, we do still have the whole outline to do, so that'll take some time yet. It feels fast. It feels fast after doing that week-long embroidery. I think that, so 5 days, and then we did 2 more days, or 2 more hours on it. So the pumpkin, that took a solid 7 hours. And I mean, you know, I'm yammering and stuff too, and so it's, you know, we're wasting time here and there, I suppose. But in the end, 6.5, 7 hours for me to do the pumpkin, and I was going pretty fast too. So, as far as stitching goes, I guess I'm doing this the opposite direction. We're doing this side first. Yep. But yeah, and then this guy's gonna take like maybe an hour and a half. We've been working on him for about 45 minutes so far, I think. 40 minutes or so. Yep, the leaves are all the California poppy color as well. Ooh, I'm making a mess here. So the leaves and his little teeth, his little fangs, are that bright orange. Obviously, you can make it whatever you want. It'd be fun to do. I was trying to keep the palette kind of minimal, so not tons of colors and stuff, but you could do the leaves all different colors. That would be pretty. Because I'm going all the way down and back up like a satin stitch, but I could crisscross. I could have like go on from the top and stay at the top and then come down like a ladder stitch, but I don't know, this is working. I'm doing these all in one big stitch. You could do a couple stitches, but I think they're small enough that we could still do one stitch. Then all his little, oops, his little head fuzzles. Oh, I got a little twisted around the end here. Little forehead hairs. And then we'll come up the other ear to get his other little ear lines. Yep, Pamela says it's not a race, it's slow stitching therapy. Yep, slow stitching therapy, that should be a thing. Oh, cool. So Rebecca says, I've been watching some of your old videos, the birdhouse that you colored with crayons first. I love it. We should do that again. So that is called color tinting. That is where, oh, this would have been a good design to do that with. Oh, especially the moon. Ooh, that would have been fun. But you can actually color in, like a coloring book, almost. You can color in this, like an embroidery before you start stitching it. So you want to do it very lightly. You can do it with colored pencils or crayons. It will, if you're washing it a lot, it will fade, but you know, so like if you're doing it on a tea towel, but for something like this, you're not going to really wash it. But you can, so you would trace it. You wouldn't use the stick and stitch. You would trace the design, and then I would even trace it with a pencil, something that you're not going to get wet. But then you can just color in the background, start very lightly and do it in layers if you want to fill in the shape. But this would have been great, like to fill in that moon a little bit with some yellow. That would have been really pretty. But yeah, and then you put it under like a paper towel to press it a little bit, and that will kind of let the color sink in, and then you can embroider over it. So we did that for our tweet house design. That was fun. We must have done that last winter because I think we did a special winter design of that. That'd be fun. We should do that again. Yeah. I have some ideas for our upcoming embroidery of the months, and some of them would work really well using that technique. So maybe we'll do some of that coming up later in the year. I just keep feeling like I'm getting a knot, but we're fine. All right, last light purple stitch. This is that lilac season color. I'm going to weave in the end here because there's more to weave into in this moon than that ear shape or those ear lines. All right, let's do that dark purple. That's the wood violet color. That's our new color for this design. All these other colors were used in the other thing. Okay, in the pumpkin. So here we go. Let's see fuzzles everywhere. Looking good. He's got his little clothes on. Let's put his outline on. All right, we'll use up quite a bit of floss for this, I suspect. Just getting my normal, like 24 inches or so. All right, where to start? I do like kind of mapping out my system. You know what? I think we're going to weave into the ends of one of these little arm stitches, and then we'll do the whole wing, come around the body, get the other wing, and see where we're at that point. Making my map. All right. 1, 2, I think I have 2 strands here. That's when it can get to be knotted up. Whoops. There we go. There's the 1 strand. Thought I just grabbed one, but got too quick. So this is just a slightly darker purple. You could make them all one color, but I think it's kind of nice outlining them in a darker color. He would be very cute all black too. Like if you did this whole thing in black and yellow, that would be really kind of cool. Oh, Sylvia's asking, am I displaying the 3D felted homes? So that was, last year we did that project from Betts White. I think it's just bettswhite.com. It might be bettswhitedesigns.com, but she did those felt houses, that whole year of the felt houses, and we did one of them here. We did the spooky clock tower, and I think that's what it was called, right? The spooky clock tower, and it was kind of these purples and yellows. It was pretty much her Halloween house, and it was really kind of cool. It had flickering lights in the bell tower, the clock tower, and it was pretty cute. That would be a good Halloween decoration. I should go get it and hang it up for sure. Or not hang it up, but have it out. I think she did re-release, that was like a Stitch of the Month sort of thing. I think she has re-released those. Alright, so again, for my map, I'm going to go around this wing. Then I'm going to go around the body, get his little toes, and I don't know, I might only have enough floss for that, but if I can get all the way back up here, I am going to do this wing as well. Then I have more. I suppose I can go around his head and start getting all that in too. Alright, again, these are just more back stitches. If you prefer a different type of kind of outlining stitch, go for it. A split stitch would work well for this. You could even use a fatter stitch like a chain stitch or a stem stitch. You could do that. I'm going to make them kind of big stitches, I think. Oops. Again, I keep moving it around just so it's the most comfortable for my left hand to hold the hoop and still feel the stitches. Cute. Okay, I think 4 stitches around this bend, this curve. Yep, I think this outline is going to take most of our time, just because there's a lot of surface area when you do the outlines. In theory, I suppose. All right. on that first wing. We're getting there. I'm already running low on the thread though, so that's taking quite a bit to go around a wing, so we might only get like half of the body done before we need our second bit of thread. A couple more stitches here. I think 3. Let's do 3 stitches. All right, we'll get a bunch of the body done, but like I said, I don't think the whole thing. Yeah, I think the darker color helps define the shape quite a bit. All right, wing 1 is done. So I am still kind of working from the farthest shape back. So the wing is behind the body and the body is behind the head. So I am kind of doing the wings first, even though, you know, I'm stretching that rule a little bit here by doing the body, but it's just close at hand. And then we'll do the head and ears last, in theory. It's coming along though. This whole portion is done, is complete. Okay, we'll do one last stitch here, and then we'll get those 3 little feet in. Feel like we're cruising right along with this. Okay, so these are just all going to be like one little stitch to that point. 1, 2, 3. His little baby claws. All right, I gotta memorize what colors I used where here because I think my iPad's about to die. But we're just using, this is all backstitch here. The only thing different is that nose is a lazy daisy stitch. I think I got it. We might get this whole body done. Well, that would be nice. His little toes are cute. So let me know what else you guys are up to today. We'll be done with this guy, I suspect, done with all of this in an hour. So we'll finish him up hopefully in the next half hour, and then another half hour or so to take the stick and stitch off of both of these guys, both the pumpkin and the bat here. Like I said, I think I'm gonna go for a nice walk. It's beautiful outside, and we'll see. Gretchen says, I know, I love the toes. Yes, little itty bitty toes. I think I made these toes a little bit bigger than his other toes. So that foot's a little bit bigger. All right, so I'm gonna just kind of finish this body, and then I'll start fresh for the wing, I think. Maybe I'll get a couple stitches of the wing in here. Yeah, we got a few stitches in us, I think, for the wing. Might as well use them. Look at his little body. Cute. Oh, Dawn's gonna be crocheting more today. That sounds nice. Oh, cut and move more brush. I suspect that that is along the realm of things that John's been doing since we've been stitching here. I'll have to get a tour of what he was outside doing when we're done here. Ooh, baking bread, yum. Oh, and you're gonna make a granny square block. Nice, nice, Bethany. Ooh, you made your first the other day. That's exciting. All right, I think this might be my last stitch here. I'll have just enough to weave in. But we got pretty far. Not completely around that wing, but we got around the body, which I was not thinking we'd get totally that far once I got going. Okay. John's been watching, I think it's on Netflix. I think it's called Away. Is that what it's called? With the astronauts and Hilary Swank's in it. He's been watching that, so I watched a little bit of that with him this morning. Maybe we'll finish watching that show. That'll be a relaxing Saturday too. Just watching a show. Ooh, Judy says I'm coming up to the last corner of the binding. But I bet you'll still be stitching when I'm off the air. Yeah. uh, yeah, if you got your last, that's awesome though. That's always a good feeling on a quilt. At least for me, like when you're doing the binding and you get that last corner in, then you're on the last straightaway before you're completely done. That's pretty cool. But yeah, that is no quick process for sure. One, two. Weaving in the end for this next bit. Alright. I don't think this will be quite enough to finish the whole thing because we gotta go around the head. That's kind of a lot, and all the face features. So I suspect we'll be getting another piece of this dark purple by the time we're through, which is just fine. Got a whole skein of it. So even with just the pocket skeins, our pocket skeins, which are the 4 meters instead of 8 meters, there's still a ton of thread. I think it's perfect for these little projects. Alright. So just a reminder, we do have these patterns in the shop in penguinandfish.com until the end of the month, and they got the bundles too, which is what I'm using right now. I'm using all the stuff from the bundle: the stick and stitch, the thread, and the hoop, and the fabric, and the needle. But yeah, and then the videos will stay up on YouTube and Facebook for however long they exist. I don't think any of that ever gets deleted from them. Oh, Barbara is saying, I'm guessing in California, that I can't see blue sky yet, or Oregon. Let me know again where you're from, Barbara. Can't see the blue in the sky, but this is the first time in over a week that I can see the mountains and clouds that are not smoke. Oof, too hazy for blue, but so much better. We actually had a little bit of that haze come our way, but it only was, which is crazy, being in Minnesota, that the fires can come all the way, like the residual from that can come all the way over here, like across the whole U.S. But we had a day here where the sky was kind of a golden pink and the sun was like a bright orange. Pretty crazy. Oh, you're in northern Idaho, so Barbara's in northern Idaho and is still, yeah, I'm sure you're seeing all that a ton yet. Diane's in Southern California. Yeah, mountains are back. They were totally covered too. Crazy. That's some scary stuff, man. I don't know. That is not, as far as I know, a yearly problem in the Midwest here, which is nice. We have tornadoes, we have the cold. But we don't have giant spiders either. That's the cold. Cold kills all those giant scary animals, scary insects. So that's a benefit of the cold. All right, we're gonna go around his head. I suspect we may need more floss. Oh, maybe as we go around the head, maybe I'll stop for the ears and try and do the ears as we go. Got a fuzzle coming through the front. Again, just trying to map it out in my head. I don't know why I keep turning. I can do this all from the front. I can feel the stitch, so I don't know why I kept turning to go around and around there. No need for that. I can stay just like this. But yeah, I think we'll try and go up that ear. I think we'll do that right now. All right, so this is what I mean, like, by stitching the things in back first and then stitch the things in the front. So I get to cover all these little ends that are touching my line here. I'm going to cover them up with back stitches right now. And that's going to give it like a nice clean look. And that would have been way more difficult to do had I done this back stitch first and then tried to fill it in with those stitches. I would have had to try and get those stitches hidden underneath this outline, when now I can just stitch over the top and have that nice clean line. I'm not coming up in any of the holes that the light purple made. I'm trying to come up in between. I'm not sure we'll make it down the other side of this ear, or maybe just. I think we'll just make it down the other side. But then I'm kind of thinking I might weave in the ends of his hair stitches there, then get his whole rest of his face except for his teeth, and then come back up and do the rest of it. Or I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how far this gets me. This thread. Maybe I'll jump down into the face right away here. We're getting there though. This is real quick, this guy. All right, let's continue this head for a few stitches. Yeah, and then I think I'm going to, we'll do a couple stitches here, and then I think I'm going to start a new thread. We'll do the whole face and then come back up and do the ear and everything, the rest of it. Actually, I might be able to get like one little stitch in here. I'm going to go down And you know what? Nah, I'm going to make one last stitch here and let's weave in the end. I think it'll be easier for me to start fresh, but he's coming along. Oh, yay! Barbara says her bundle is in the mailbox. She's going to go pick it up. Yay, that's exciting! There's that fuzzle that's in my way. Alright. Get another bit of purple. We used up our 2 strands already. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right. Not too much left with this. So we're going to do a whole pile of different stitches though now. We're going to do French knot, the single chain stitch or the lazy daisy stitch, and more back stitches. We'll have just that California poppy color to do then yet. So the leaves and his little fangs. Okay, so I'm going to weave in the back of his little fur forehead here. I think I'm going to just start with this French knot eye. So his eyes are just 2 little French knots. In the dark purple. That's cute. All right, let's do his little nose. He's coming together. There we go. I think I'll do the mouth now quick and then get the other side of the nose. So now normally I would have liked to do the fangs first because it is behind the mouth. But there wasn't really anything to weave into the backs of to get started on those. So now I'll have the mouth that I can weave into the back. And it was fun to do the outline next anyway. His little nose is funny. Big nostril. Just cut my thread on my watch. All right, and then we'll do the other eyeball, the other French knot, and then we'll kind of be back onto this side, and I think we'll just stitch from the bottom up, get that ear, and one last stitch around the head, and we'll have all the purple done, and his outline will be done. That nose is so silly. I made it kind of big here. I like it though. Big little chain stitches. All right, French knot. And again, I went over French knots and the 3 things you might be doing wrong. If you're having trouble with French knots, it's probably one of these 3 things. I went over that on Thursday when we were working on the French knots for the pumpkin, the jack-o'-lantern, so you can check that out. Again, that was Thursday. All right, we're almost done with his outline. Let's get his little ear stitches, and then we'll finish up the rest of the head outline, just because then we can stitch over the ear stitches. little feller. It's cute. Happy little bat. We've seen, we have bats that flit around in the neighborhood in the evening. Sometimes we can see them. It's kind of creepy seeing them because you're so used to like seeing birds flying and that sort of thing, and the birds fly just completely different than, or the bats fly completely different from the birds. They like swoop around in circles, and I don't know, they're fast. It's kind of crazy. Oh, Barbara says, I love the lazy daisy nose. Yeah, it's just kind of cute. Little pug nose almost. Alright, we'll get like 3 more, I think. I'm gonna have just enough thread for this. I thought I'd have a little bit more. Now this one I need to kind of tuck under that other stitch. There we go. And I think 2 more stitches for this head. And we got ourselves an outlined bat. Okay, one last thing. We have his teeth. Let's do those first, just because then those will be done. And then we got these little leaves to do yet. Nice little ending touch to it, I think. Little autumn leaves floating about. Okay, so I think I did, yep, oh, here we go. We have, this isn't that big of a piece. Oh, here we go. A whole big piece of this California poppy color from the last project from the pumpkin. All right, again, let's do those teeth first, and then I'll probably weave in the ends again and then start fresh for the leaves. Just because then we're not jumping too far across the piece. I also don't like jumping a lot across across a face when I'm doing a face, just because I don't want to see those extra lines behind if I can. All right, we started on this side, so let's get tucking it underneath the mouth there. All right, hold on a sec. They're cute. Little pointy fangs. And I think we'll just kind of start at the bottom and work our way back to the top for these, for the leaves. So you could just leap down and continue. Feel like I'm been stitching a while here today, and now I'm getting picky with where I start and stop. All right, we're gonna go at the bottom here. All right. So thanks for following me here on Facebook, and thanks for your likes and follows there, and the subscribes on YouTube. I do appreciate that a ton. All right, I think I'm going to do this in like 3 stitches. This is nice and bright for these leaves. Let's just go around this way. Stitches. Still using that back stitch. Again, you can play around with the stitches more than me if you want. Last little stitch, go up to the next one. I'm just going to jump. I think I'm going to do the outside first and then we'll do the inside. Then I don't know. I don't know if we'll jump up to the next one. We'll see where our thread's at that point. Might have to start that one fresh, with a fresh thread. Maybe we'll go to the extra close-up for that last little leaf. That might be fun. All right, 2 more stitches here, I think. I'm not sure I have enough thread. I think I'm going to start fresh for this one on top. So yeah, let's finish this bit down here, start our new piece of thread. I think I have a scrap that's big enough. Actually, this scrap might be big enough just not to travel all the way up there. I think I have a little bit bigger one here. It's almost there though. So next up, after we finish this leaf, we'll do the, we'll take off the stick and stitch stabilizer and finish these guys up. We'll press them and they should be all nice and perfect when we're done. So our pumpkin, that'll be a tea towel, so that'll actually be completely complete. This guy will just be a finished embroidery. It's not going to be stitched into anything yet. But here's a little bit longer piece. But he'll be ready to stitch into something when we're ready. All right, and I think this last piece we'll do this one close up. That'll be kind of fun. We can do that right now. All right, here we go. Threading that needle. Okay. I'm going to weave into the back of the stitches here. We'll get that last little leafy. Okay, 3. Okay, so here we are, our last stitching for the day. And this was almost exactly at the hour-and-a-half mark, I think, for this guy. So this is like a one movie project, this little one. The pumpkin was more like a one whole TV series project. 7 hours, a short TV series on Netflix. That's what that other one was. A 7-episode mini series. How about that? All right, and yeah, I'm ready to take off this stick and stitch. We'll do a little reset. I do have my bowls of water ready. So if you were to do the stick and stitch on your own, you can just run warm water from your sink and then hold your embroidery underneath that. I'm doing it here with some bowls of water. One is the initial bowl of water, and then when that gets too dirty, we'll clean it in a clean bowl of water. But then that's it. So if you're at home, you could do it over the sink, or you could do it in bowls. How I'm doing it. That probably uses up less water. Doing the bowl method. Last stitch. All right, there we go. He's looking pretty cute. I like his big nose. Is kind of fun. All right, let's weave in the end. Oh, Teresa says on Facebook, honestly hate bats in real life, but knowing they eat tons of mosquitoes, I try to basically be happy that they're up there. Yep, they're getting all them mosquitoes. All right, let's trim that, and we are done with the stitching today. Awesome. So here we are, you guys. I'm gonna get up a bit taller here. My iPad ran out of batteries, so that's no help to us anymore, but luckily we're done. So here we are, both of our fellers. I'm gonna take this guy out of the hoop, and I'm gonna just kind of shush all my thread to one side here and clean up. I'll close this guy. All right, let's go ahead and do the stick and stitch removal. So I'm going to grab my bowls of water. So let's shush these to the side. Okay, here is bowl number 1. And I have a second bowl that is just will be our secondary clean water bowl. All right, so I'm going to we're going to do this a little bit at a time. I'm going to throw this guy in first, so he's going to get completely wet. But while he's just sitting in there, I'm going to just kind of do both at the same time. So let's throw this guy in here as well. We're going to make a wet mess here. So I do have a towel. We're going to use that towel later. Later when we press, but I'm going to use it here as well because I suspect with this tea towel it's going to go over the edge a little bit. So it works a little bit better if you use warm water, but this started out hot, but it is definitely cold now. It is room temperature now after sitting around here, but you can already see it's kind of coming loose. What we are going to do is just encourage all of that sulky stick and stitch to go away. So it'll goop up, like it'll be like these little flecks. And that's what we want. So I am just going to go over this whole thing and gently massage it out. So where we saved time in the beginning, we're kind of losing, by transferring it with this, by just sticking it on. So we saved that time from having to trace the design, but we're kind of making it up for it now by getting all these flecks out. So you can kind of see it coming out. It'll float around in here, all those flecks. I want to go, rub my fingers over every single stitch. I want to make sure that all of that ink, that toner from printing it, all of that is gone. I don't want any of this stick and stitch here. I don't want it on my iron. None of that. It'll get sticky. So I'm going to spend time here and going over each area. It's actually easier, or it's a little more difficult to see on this fabric. It's easier to see on the other fabric where the stick and stitch is and where it isn't. But we're going to go little by little over this whole thing. And when this bowl of water just gets too full of this stuff, so it's just stuck on everything, or it's just floating around too much, that's when we will switch to our clean water. And after I go over this a little bit, I might just leave this in here and get the bat from underneath. I'm hoping the bat right now is all flaking off by itself, just soaking in the water. We're just kind of encouraging it a little. You could probably just let this sit for a while and it would all kind of dissolve. But I think just helping it along. But like all these little flakes that are sticking up here, that's what we want to wash off in our next bowl of water. Now that I think of it, I am going to move my iPad so I don't dump water all over it on accident. So let's scooch that out of the way. All right. I think everything else will be fine if it gets wet. How are we doing? Okay, up in here, there seems like there's a little bit underneath yet. I'm actually going to turn my iron on too. So how we are going to dry this is by pressing it. And I do have a technique that I like for that. So we'll be doing that. But that's part, I do that with this Fabricelli, or the stick and stitch process. Look at it, how bright and pretty it is. It's turning out so pretty. Okay, I'm excited. And we're looking pretty good here. I'm just kind of peeking, especially under these light colors, like the yellow. If we got all the stick and stitch off of there, I'm just going to kind of rub my fingers over that a little bit more. Okay, it's looking pretty well done. I think we can get away with it with how it is now. If you're seeing more little black flecks or anything, just keep going with this. And then, you know, for this tea towel, after its first wash, I'm sure most of that will be gone. Actually, when you dry this, you won't be able to see a lot of those flecks either. But when it's wet, it does stand out a little bit more on these light colors like this yellow. But again, once you press it, it's less visible. Just going to get in there a little bit more. All right, I think we're going to call it there. Let's let this one sit for a while and see how this guy's doing. Oh yeah, so here's what it looks like when all the big pieces are off, but now we got to go in and kind of rub all the rest of this off too. So we're going to, again, do it in the dirty water here, and then we'll switch to the clean water to finish it up. I'm going to get my other towel up here. The finished guys can kind of sit on. I got a fluffy towel here, so you're gonna want like a normal fluffy, just like a normal fluffy bath towel to do the pressing. The reason we want that fluffiness is because that's what's gonna kind of preserve the 3D-ness of our stitches when we press. We don't want to squash all our pretty stitches that we just did, especially like the French knots or some of these satin stitches that we made a little poofy. We're not going to want to delete all that or like squish them all down. There, you can see it's already looking a whole lot better. There is a bit yet though, so I'm gonna just keep working it. We're doing 2, so it's taken twice as long. We'll just go ahead and clean this one right away in the clean water. That again is just to get all the flecks, just like a finish washing all the flecks off. Less so for like the cleaning like what I'm doing now, but more so like just any fleck that happened to stay on the fabric or any of that. We're gonna just kind of wash that away. All right, we're looking okay. I think there's kind of there's a little forehead hairs. There's lots of thread up there, floss up there, so it's wanting to stick underneath them all. And then we'll do another run underneath this yellow because it's that light colored bit. Oh, there, that's coming off. Some here. All right, that's looking pretty clean. I'm calling that clean. Let's go to our fresh little bit of water here, and we're just doing a final like little rinse just to make sure that none of those flecks are still on the fabric. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, let's set that aside and let's use that same water. This guy is quite wet. Let's dip him down here. Whew. Make sure all of our flecks are off of him as best as we can get it. I think I should have used a little bit bigger bowl for him. All right, I think that's probably as good as we're going to get it. So I'm going to actually squeeze these a little bit just to get excess water out. There. And let's set him here as well. This guy I think is fine. All right, you can kind of see the difference. Here is our dirty water. There's flecks all over it. The whole thing has gone like murky. And our clean water, there are a lot of flecks in there, but not nearly as much. So all right, I'm gonna actually lift those away so I don't dump them everywhere. Actually, you know what? I think I am gonna leave them on the table because now my iPad is on the other spot. So we will just shush these out of the way. All right, what we're gonna need next, let's just wipe this up. What I'm gonna want next is my pressing mat again, and I'm going to put my towel right on top. I'm going to do the bat first. So this towel is folded up. It's flat, but again, we are using a fluffy towel. That's kind of the key. All right, you're going to flip your wet piece backwards, and we're going to press exactly right on the back of the fabric there. So we're basically pressing it into the fuzzles. And that's going to kind of preserve the thickness of our stitches a little bit. So we shouldn't have really squashed stitches. All right. Right on the back. You can hear it sizzle. So this is drying and pressing it at the same time. So we're basically steaming it, really. Right? You can already see it's lighter around the edge. There's some darkness around the stitches. That's because it's holding water there. That'll be a little bit more to get out. I mean, we are squishing the stitches in the back, but that's fine. Why I love doing this versus air drying is because it gets rid of the wrinkles right away. Sometimes when you air dry, you're still going to have all those wrinkles. All right, I think we can probably let the rest of it air dry. It's still a little dark around the thread, but not too bad. And this is actually making your towel wet, like you're pushing the water into your towel, so you may have to move around the towel to dry spots. Like I could just scooch over here a little bit where it's a little more dry and hit it again. Yeah, because this is pretty wet. I might have to flip this around to do the pumpkin. But all right, so here we are, and our little French knots are not too squished. It is perfectly flat, so our little bat is totally done. That's turned out really kind of sweet. Okay, great. So he's done. Let's do the towel. So I'm scooching up so I have a clean, not a clean, so I have a dry area, because this part up here where we did the bat is soaking wet. All right, let's flip this guy around too. So I didn't get this whole thing wet, even though, you know, it's starting to soak up to the top. So we'll give that a little press, but I'm going to focus on this bottom area. All right, got my heated up here. Ooh, there's the sizzle. That's what I like to hear. So again, we are drying this out. I don't know if I've done this with a tea towel in a while. It might take a little bit more for the tea towel to dry out than just my little fabric. It's a bit thicker. There's more to it, and it's meant to soak up water. So I might have to scooch around my towel a little bit more. And I think this one could probably air dry a little bit more. But we'll try and get it all nice right now. All right, I am going to scooch it a bit, so let's just move it down. Again, we're looking for dry areas of my floofy towel. There we go. See, this looks nice on the back too. At first glance, you wouldn't know that this is the back of the embroidery. We worked extra hard for that pretty back on this one, I think. So I'm still pushing the water out of this. And I might just let this tea towel dry the rest of the way. Let's try and get some of the bulk of the water out up here too. But the stick and stitch is gone. That was the main goal. I'm going to press these bottom little areas so they're pretty, and have some of the water out of them too. There we go, and I think we will call it there. Let's take a look. Again, this is a little wet yet, but I'm going to let it air dry the rest of the way. Aw, it's so sweet. So at this point, you could kind of, you know, these longer stitches, when you get them wet, they're going to kind of floof up, but you can feel free to kind of rejigger them a little bit. So, you know, normally if I was doing a tea towel, I probably wouldn't have like these too big as a stitches like this, but I thought it was kind of cute, so I just went with it. But yeah, you can, if you really want to, floof it up again like what I'm doing here. Not really necessary. Being a little bit picky. But there we go. Cute, cute! All the little stem stitches turned out so sweet. That double thickness line there. Awesome! So let's see what these guys look like together. So in theory, this would be kind of cute and folded over, or we put it over the oven handle. Aw, it looks nice without all that Fabricelli. And our little bat! Awesome! All right, let's see what they look like here. All right, you guys, so let's take a look. So here is the finished little bat. I would love to make this into a patch or something. Like I said, that last week of September kind of crosses over October quite a bit, so we have a free week to work on stuff. This would be great to do then. And then our little towel. I love how this turned out. You can kind of see what it would look like tilted over on a rack or something, but it also has that tea towel hook. So that would be just cute, just hanging, dangling off the hook there. Awesome! Yay! So thank you guys again for hanging out with me here today. This was one of our long Saturday stitch-alongs, but I am so happy that we finished both of these. It was fun to work on both of them. I hope you guys had a fun time hanging out with me here as well. The patterns and the bundles are still available for both of these designs until the end of September. It's our embroidery of the month, so check that out on penguinandfish.com. But thanks again, guys. It was wonderful hanging out with you again. Have a great rest of your Saturday, and I will see you again Monday. See you later. Bye.